Li Mei's Sword of Destiny. Chapter 1502. On the day of the great battle, the heavens and earth lost their color. The sun and moon lost their light. The vast mountains and rivers were all reduced to dust. Right now, in this chaotic battlefield, the situation was extremely terrifying. Many experts from the various races appeared, exuding a fearsome aura. How could the scale of the battle between humans and demons not be grand? Ever since the rules of the city of ancient emperors changed, there had never been such a scene before. Demons and humans constantly joined the fray, and a slight change in one part would cause a chain reaction. In fact, in this space, many supreme characters that were rarely seen in the city of ancient emperors also appeared. For example, the nine-tailed fox maiden Jiang Zihua from the Jiang clan, who was the first to comprehend a Tao element, as well as that supreme character who sat on the golden sun chariot in the air. He once killed a prince of the Taihua immortal dynasty with a single strike, and now stood at the peak of the city of ancient emperors. No one dared to antagonize him. Some of his clansmen also joined the battle, but he didn't interfere at all. Even when his clansmen encountered danger, he still chose to watch from the sidelines. Right now, the immortal realms were in chaos as the laws of heaven and earth changed. A brand new era was about to usher in. Regardless of the desolate mountains or the demonic races, both would experience great changes. Powerful experts would appear, and if any race wanted to stand at the peak in the future, they would have to be extremely powerful. The city of ancient emperors was none other than the tempering grounds. Other than several supreme characters, many from the royal races of the desolate mountains also appeared, joining the battle. Gradually, they gained an overwhelming advantage, wanting to suppress the human Wuxiu. The battlefield was extremely tragic. Blood rained down from the skies. In this vast space, the battlefield in the center was the most brutal. The number of people who died was extremely high. The void beasts and the heaven-hold demon race were still ferociously attacking the people from Matriarch Ji's sect, as well as the Southern Phoenix clan. Little Rascal, who was in the form of a heaven-devouring beast, was the only one fighting against them. He was like the king of all demons, and if it wasn't for several supreme greater demons joining forces, it was unknown how many demon kings would have been devoured by him. Other than this, Jun Mengchen's combat prowess was also extremely tyrannical. Only the Void Beast Kings could stop him. The Namhuang clan also had several extraordinary characters. The Phoenix silhouettes suppressed the heaven and earth, the flames scorching the sky. However, no matter how they resisted, they were still in a state of being suppressed, causing many experts to be bathed in blood. Qing Er's entire body was cold to the extreme. Spatial energy enveloped her body, and her pure and beautiful face was covered in an icy aura. However, her pure and flawless clothes were currently stained with dirt and blood. There were several wounds on her body, causing others to feel pity for her. At this moment, there were several greater demons surrounding her. A transcendent greater demon from the Heavenhold race revealed a covetous expression as he spoke. "What a beautiful woman. I want this woman alive. Everyone, please show mercy." "All right." A void beast coldly spoke. To deal with such a cold beauty, killing her wasn't the cruelest thing to do. "Do it." The great demon of the Heavenhold race blasted out with a punch that was still filled with boundless might. Meteors descended from the sky, each of them resembling a star, containing boundless might. Qing Er's expression was extremely solemn as the law energy of the void engulfed this entire space, wrapping around the incoming energy and banishing it. Humph! The void beast traversed through space, opening up a spatial pathway, and directly appeared before Qing. His sharp claws tore through everything. Many human Wuxiu who came to participate in the battle seemed to be here because of this woman. Capture her. Several greater demons rushed towards Qing. In an instant, Qing was in imminent danger. Boom! At this moment, a blood-colored bolt of lightning slammed into the body of one of the greater demons. That greater demon trembled violently as boundless law energy descended, transforming into a prison. Strands of blood-colored lightning coiled around his body. "Kill!" A cold voice rang out. That demonic cultivator roared in rage before disintegrating into dust. Many experts from the demonic races glanced over, only to see a group of devil cultivators walking over. Their bodies radiated traces of judgment energy, extremely terrifying. It's the devil cultivators from the Judiciary Devil Hall. They actually interfered. Although the majority of the myriad devil islands and the immortal realms Wuxiu are humans, they are also enemies. Yet, they actually acted to help. Someone had a look of surprise on his face. The priestess of the Judiciary Devil Hall. Someone glanced at a female among them. She was clad in blood-colored robes and had a crown on her head, exuding a cold aura. The devil cultivators of your myriad devil islands also want to interfere? In the air, a transcendent greater demon transformed into human form. His arms were crossed in front of his chest. This powerful demonic beast was an expert from the Foarok race of the Desolate Mountains. He possessed the unique bloodlines of the Foarok and Phoenix races. Could it be that the devil cultivator of the myriad devil islands isn't the human Wuxiu? The priestess coldly spoke. This scene caused another group of experts from the Devil Mountain of the myriad devil islands to feel bewildered. These devil cultivators were like shadows, like kings of the darkness. They were none other than immortal kings of the darkness Devil Hall. This priestess Bai Qing's personality has always been cold and emotionless. Why is she so passionate now? A devil cultivator coldly spoke, feeling somewhat taken aback. Back then when Bai Qing was still at the Immortal Foundation realm, there was a group of Immortal Realms Wuxiu who came to our Devil Mountain. Do you still remember? I vaguely remember a little. Back then, Bai Qing was an old acquaintance of that person and referred to him as Wentian Gige. From this, one can very well imagine the relationship between them. Also, this Qin Wentian has caused quite a commotion on our Devil Mountain, and is extremely famous in the eastern regions. That evergreen Qing is the daughter of Chongqing the Great, and is also the fiancée of Qin Wentian. Someone pointed to Qing as he spoke. In that case, Bai Qing appeared because she wanted to help Qin Wentian. However, from Bai Qing's attitude, does she really treat Qin Wentian as an elder brother? A devil cultivator at the side coldly laughed. If she doesn't treat him as an elder brother, why would she act to help Qin Wentian's woman? Maybe her feelings for him are too deep. They laughed, as though they were talking about something insignificant. Didn't you guys hear? The devil cultivators of the myriad devil islands are also humans. In that case, are you guys not demons? In the air, the experts from the Foarok race glanced to their left and right. A moment later, another group of supreme greater demons swooped down. The speed of the Foarok race was incomparably fast, and they had the advantage of the great rocks and phoenixes. They directly attacked the experts of the Judiciary Devil Hall, causing the battle to grow increasingly complicated. There were more spectators compared to the combatants, but as long as the human Wuxiu joined the battle, demonic beasts would immediately join the battle, suppressing the humans. From afar, an expert could be seen speeding over. Qin Wentian's robes fluttered in the wind. Although he was still far away, his immortal sense had already arrived. He could see that the battlefield was filled with experts from all directions. He could tell with a single glance that this was a battle between demonic beasts and humans. Also, there were many greater demon races as well as human experts involved. They covered the entire battlefield, and in the center of the battlefield, there was actually Qing and the others. There was also Jun Mengchen, Nam Huang Yunxi, Little Rascal, and even that little lass Bai Qing. All these familiar figures instantly stirred his heart. When he saw the bloodstains on Qing body and how Jun Mengchen fought bravely, his resplendent eyes flashed with an extremely cold killing intent. Finally, he arrived at the periphery of the battlefield. He transformed into a beam of light and directly rushed into the battlefield as he spoke in a tyrannical voice. "What's wrong? A bunch of vile beasts dares to bully us humans? All of you better stop for this seat." His voice was tyrannical to the extreme, humiliating the many demonic beasts with a single sentence. Qin Wentian's purpose was to implicate himself in this battle with a single sentence. His tyrannical voice thundered through the air, ringing out in the ears of everyone. In an instant, countless experts coldly stared at him, including the supreme greater demons. However, this was a war between immortal kings, and such a large-scale one in particular. How could it be resolved just because of a single sentence from Qin Wentian? The experts in the battle didn't stop. They were still as violent as ever. "Didn't you guys hear this seat's words?" Qin Wentian roared. His palms sliced through the air as a river of sword qi formed from lightning arced through the air, slashing towards the battlefield where Qing and Bai Qing were fighting. Those demonic beasts were instantly shocked when they sensed the power of the sword qi. Sounds of screams of agony rang out as the gigantic demonic beasts were directly slashed apart by the sword qi. Roars of rage and screams of misery rang out unceasingly. In an instant, many people on the battlefield stopped. Numerous gazes turned to Qin Wentian, gleaming with sharpness. The saber sword immortal king. Someone recognized Qin Wentian as he exclaimed in shock. He is the saber sword immortal king? A character at the peak of the city of ancient emperors is interfering in the war between humans and demons of the desolate mountains. The eyes of everyone flashed. The saber sword immortal king's interference might cause an even greater conflict. The experts from the demonic races all stared at Qin Wentian, staring at the immense emperor's fate behind him. Was this the saber sword immortal king who killed the Yama crown prince in 9 seconds? He was truly tyrannical, actually wanting the entire battlefield to stop with a single sentence. Saber sword immortal king, you are too impudent. In the air, a supreme greater demon from the Foarok race had a sharp look on his face as he stared at Qin Wentian. Among the demons killed earlier, one of them was a tribesman from the Foarok race. Impudent. Qin Wentian inclined his head and stared at the sky as a torrential river of sword qi shot out from his eyes. That expert from the Foarok race flashed, arcing through the air as he roared. What are you doing? Do you think you can escape? Qin Wentian coldly snorted. The river of sword qi slashed out, causing piercing sounds to ring out as screams of misery rang out. The crowd only saw the body of that peak stage demon king from the Foarok race being torn apart. This was simply terrifying. This saber sword immortal king is, as the rumors say, simply lawless. There are many greater demon races here, and each of them has an Empyrean character. This is especially so for the Foarok race. How powerful are they? That expert over there is also an expert from the Foarok race, but he actually directly started a massacre. The crowd was shocked. The saber sword immortal king was simply too tyrannical. Qing Er's beautiful eyes flashed with a strange light as she stared at Qin Wentian. Earlier, Qin Wentian's sword strike seemed to be a casual one, yet it happened to help her out of her predicament. This caused her to be somewhat bewildered. It's me. At this moment, a voice rang out in her mind. In an instant, Qing Er only felt a warm current flowing through her heart. She lowered her head and glanced at the bloodstains on her body as her cold eyes seemed to melt. This fellow kept looking for her in the city of ancient emperors. So it turned out that he had changed his identity. Chapter 1503. The moment Qin Wentian acted, he killed several demon kings. In addition to his arrogant words, his actions instantly angered the other demons of the desolate mountains. Numerous terrifying auras bore down on him as demonic qi towered up into the sky. You want to become enemies with the entire demon race of the desolate mountains? An Empyrean from the void beast race coldly spoke. What a big hat! The entire demon race of the desolate mountains? Qin Wentian laughed uproariously. He stared at the Empyrean and continued, you demons surrounded and killed humans of my immortal realms. In addition to the incident that happened many years ago in the ancient Emperor Palace, some of the demon races of the desolate mountains have never placed humans of the immortal realms in their eyes. As for those demons who wreaked havoc in the human world of the immortal realms, aren't they also treating Wuxiu as their enemies? All the demons fell silent. However, that Empyrean from the Foarok race floated in the air, radiating demonic qi as he stared at Qin Wentian. The void beasts, Heavenhold race and the others all stared at Qin Wentian as killing intent flashed in their eyes. It's just that the fame of the saber sword immortal king was too great. In addition to the fact that he killed several greater demons the moment he appeared, shocking everyone. Even for these violent demons, they didn't dare to act recklessly. Someone turned his gaze to that incomparably dazzling figure in the air. That figure sat on the golden sun chariot, radiating light that illuminated the area. He was also a character at the peak of the city of ancient emperors, terrifying to the extreme and had shocking combat prowess. Now that a peak character had appeared in the human race of Wuxiu, only he and the nine-tailed fox maiden could contend against him. However, the fox maiden's personality was too cold. Clearly, the possibility of her participating in the battle was lower compared to this Empyrean from the Golden Sun Chariot. That Empyrean from the Foarok race glanced at another Empyrean from their race. Although his fame wasn't as great as that Empyrean from the Forok race, they all knew how terrifying his strength was. That Empyrean from the Forok race stared at Qin Wentian, his eyes gleaming with arrogance. "Everyone, what do you all think?" He didn't act directly but stared at the experts from the other demonic races instead. The demonic chi radiating from these Empyrean-level greater demons seemed to be able to bury the heavens and earth. All of them had killing intent towards this saber-sword immortal king. The saber-sword immortal king was simply too arrogant. He humiliated the demon race of the desolate mountains and killed our demon race's experts. He must be killed. An expert secretly spoke. "Humiliate the demon clan and kill me? Who dares?" Qin Wentian's eyes swept across the demonic beasts in all directions. As soon as he spoke, the air fell silent once again. Despite the overwhelming demonic aura, he was still as confident and calm as ever. One could even say that he was arrogant. After another moment of silence, the demonic chi of the greater demons in the air didn't diminish at all. They exchanged glances with each other, as though they were plotting something. Bizizi, the air whistled as a void beast acted. He soared through the air and grabbed out with his palm towards Qin Wentian. In an instant, a powerful spatial energy bore down on Qin Wentian. In just an instant, a spatial prison appeared, trapping Qin Wentian within. After that, many other greater demons acted at the same time. Among them, there were several void beasts who unleashed spatial energy that bore down on Qin Wentian. After that, the greater demons from the Heavenhold race also acted. They transformed into supreme greater demons and blasted out fist lights that contained boundless might. There were also experts from the Forok race who acted. They spread their wings and soared through the air, instantly arriving. "Do you demonic beasts of the desolate mountains still have any face?" Jun Mingchen roared. A world manifested, enveloping this entire space. "Roar!" Little Rascal howled in rage. Its golden eyes gleamed with a terrifying coldness as a fearsome devouring vortex appeared, devouring the spatial energy within the spatial prison. Qin Wentian was as calm as ever. He turned his gaze to the surroundings. There were more and more greater demons rushing over from all directions. Although he was trapped by the spatial prison, a look of arrogance could be seen on his face, as calm as ever. With a single glance, those experts rushing towards Qin Wentian only felt the entire space changing. They rushed towards Qin Wentian, but Qin Wentian merely stood there quietly, staring at them. He was so close yet so far away at the same time. An illusion. Many greater demons exchanged mutual glances. How could this be? They entered an illusion. Was this a law domain that Qin Wentian comprehended? It was rumored that back then when the Yama Crown Prince was killed by the Sabersword Immortal King within 9 seconds, it had something to do with illusions. Now, was this a reenactment of the Yama King's death? When they thought of this, their hearts trembled uncontrollably as terror filled their hearts. After all, the Sabersword Immortal King was extremely famous and this illusionscape was extremely mysterious. Bizi. A void beast soared through the air, appearing before Qin Wentian. Its sharp claws directly tore Qin Wentian apart. However, he discovered that Qin Wentian's silhouette had already vanished. However, they were still trapped within the illusionscape, unable to break free. An expert from the Forok race was bathed in supreme flames. He pointed a finger at the center of his brows as light shot out from his eyes. He returned to the outside world and could see the real world. However, to his shock, he discovered that his mind seemed to have split. He was still in that illusory space. That illusory space seemed to be trying to pull him back. This is a dreamscape. He wants to pull me into a dream created by him. Wandering between reality and illusionscape, he discovered to his shock that he actually had no way to break free. In the illusionscape, many experts were already being attacked. Qin Wentian's silhouettes appeared in many locations, transforming into a myriad of incarnations. What space is this? A demonic beast roared in rage. A space that will bury all of you. Qin Wentian calmly spoke. In an instant, a myriad of laws appeared, engulfing this space. How could these people withstand Qin Wentian's attacks? One after another, the demonic beasts were annihilated. Hence, a shocking scene appeared in the outside world. Those demonic beasts that rushed towards Qin Wentian actually died one after another. Before they could even reach Qin Wentian, all of them were already howling in rage. When Qin Wentian waved his palm, all of them were annihilated. The saber-sword immortal king. Everyone stared at the demonic beasts that fell unceasingly. All the demonic beasts fell silent. Powerful. Was this the strength of the saber-sword immortal king? His illusory arts seemed to have already reached a transcendent level. There was no way to break them or evade them. As long as Qin Wentian stood there, he would be able to drag them into the illusionscape and kill them. The spatial prison around Qin Wentian vanished. He calmly stood there as he coldly spoke. Who else wants to kill this seat? We can't kill him. The experts all sighed. If one wanted to kill a character at the peak of the city of ancient emperors, it was no longer a matter of numbers, because no one would be able to withstand their destructive attacks. Those who encountered them would die for sure. The demonic beasts inclined their heads and stared at that figure in the air that was even more dazzling than the sun. Although there were many demonic beasts here, the only one who could deal with the saber-sword immortal king was him. Please make your move. A demonic beast spoke. In this place only you can kill him. Humans humiliated the demons of our desolate mountains. We have to protect the glory of our desolate mountains. In all directions, the eyes of the greater demons were all staring at the figure sitting on the sun chariot, treating him as their hope. The saber-sword immortal king was too powerful. They couldn't kill him. In fact, they couldn't even get close to him. In addition, the saber-sword immortal king once relied on his illusory arts to kill the Yama crown prince within 9 breaths. Even these tyrannical demonic beasts understood that given their strength, they wouldn't be able to kill the saber-sword immortal king. If they continued to attack, they would only be courting death. Saber-sword immortal king. At this moment, an intense light flashed from the sun chariot. That figure in the sun finally spoke. The moment he spoke, all the demonic beasts were filled with excitement, hoping that he would kill the saber-sword immortal king. Qin Wentian inclined his head and stared at his opponent. This demonic beast from the Gold Sun race was rumored to be a hybrid between the Golden Crow and the Golden Crow race, possessing the advantages of both races. Regardless of attack or defense, they were all extremely powerful, able to stand shoulder to shoulder with the Forok race. An intense battle intent flashed in Qin Wentian's eyes. He wondered how this supreme greater demon from the Gold Sun race would fare against the Yama crown prince. Let's end the battle here today. Just when everyone thought there would be a great battle, the figure in the sun chariot spoke. Since the demons of the desolate mountains have come out, it's naturally impossible for them to retreat back to the desolate mountains. In the future, humans and demonic beasts will coexist. This isn't something that can be resolved with a single battle here. Humans or demons, it's meaningless to argue. Only those who are stronger would have the authority to speak. Qin Wentian quietly listened. He naturally understood that the other party was speaking the truth. It didn't matter who was more esteemed, it was just that everyone had their own standpoints. If demons were stronger, humans would be their servants. If humans were stronger, demons would be their slaves. This was reality. We have yet to stand at the peak of the immortal realms. We won't be able to decide the overall situation. That expert in the air continued. And in this space there are many characters who are already at the peak of the immortal king realm. I also wish to see who is stronger and who is weaker exactly. As the sound of his voice faded, everyone was shocked. Could it be that he wanted everyone to disperse and end this chaotic battle? Could it be that he wanted to fight against Qin Wentian alone? I will summon all the peak characters here. Regardless of the demons or humans, I want to see who will be the true king in the city of ancient emperors. The eyes of that expert from the Gold Sun race turned to Qin Wentian as he spoke. Saber-sword immortal king, at that time you should come as well. Also, the fox goddess and Zhang Zihua. The hearts of the experts here trembled. Inviting the peak characters of the city of ancient emperors for a battle? The beautiful eyes of the nine-tailed fox maiden also flashed with a bright light. In truth, she also wanted to know who was stronger in the city of ancient emperors right now. Zhang Zihua laughed. He stared at the expert on the war chariot. Fine, you can decide the time and location. Let's forget about today's matter. I will send a message to the city of ancient emperors. You guys just have to wait for my news. As the sound of that expert's voice faded, sunlight cascaded down from the sky. The war chariot whistled as it directly departed from this place. When the experts from the Gold Sun race saw this scene, their silhouettes flashed as they departed respectively. Chapter 1504. When the demonic beasts saw the experts from the Sun Gold Demon race leaving, all of them had the intention to retreat, preparing for a truce. Naturally, this was because no one could deal with the Sabersword Immortal King. If not, how could they retreat so easily? Sabersword Immortal King, the day of the final battle shall be the day you die. A greater demon from the Heavenhold race coldly spoke. Although he had an ugly appearance, his eyes were filled with arrogance. Beauties, I will let you guys live freely for a few more days. Don't be anxious, my Heavenhold race will definitely dote on you guys. They didn't forget to look at GD's followers in Qing'er with lustful eyes. There's also the Namhuang clan. It's said that they have the bloodline of the Phoenix. I'm filled with anticipation. Many experts from the Forok race also coldly spoke. They originally had the bloodline of both the Great Rock and Phoenix races. They had no idea how pure the Phoenix bloodline of the Namhuang clan was. Retreat. The void beasts gritted their teeth, feeling somewhat unwilling. Retreat? Did this seed agree to it? At this moment, Qin Wentian suddenly spoke, his words causing the demonic beasts to halt their steps in the air. Numerous pairs of demonic eyes stared fixedly at him. Sabersword Immortal King, what do you mean by this? Didn't you hear what I said earlier? If you want to fight, there will naturally be others to deal with you. Those greater demons stared at Qin Wentian. What a joke. Did this seed agree to it? Qin Wentian's eyes flashed with arrogance. He floated in the air as his killing intent gushed forth, causing the demonic beasts in the surroundings to stare at him. This bastard actually wanted to act? You don't dare to accept the challenge? A greater demon from the Heavenhold race pointed his finger at Qin Wentian as a violent demonic chi ravaged the air. When this seat does things, how can I allow others to guide me? Since he wants to challenge me, this seat will naturally accept it. However, you all humiliated me, a human Wu Xiao, and were disrespectful to a fairy of the immortal realms. You all want to fight and leave just like that? Qin Wentian arrogantly spoke. He continued soaring up into the air as he smiled. Back then, this seat once had a 7-day agreement with Fairy Su Qing. Who in the city of ancient emperors doesn't know that this seat has a tender heart for the fairer sex? In addition, the fairies of the Namhuang clan have an extraordinary relationship with this seat. Holy maidens and fairies before this, which demon race participated in the assassination of the Southern Phoenix Holy Maiden? Qin Wentian turned his head and asked Nanfeng Yunqi. The auras of the demons surged as their rage towered up into the sky. Right now, how could they not understand that the Sabersword Immortal King had no intentions of letting them off? He wanted to settle the debt with them. Those rats that call themselves void beasts, the Heavenhold race, and the Forok race all have a share. Namhuang Yunqi's expression turned cold as she spoke. She naturally understood Qin Wentian's meaning. These people weren't the only ones insulting them, Qing'er was there as well. Although Qin Wentian had transformed into the Sabersword Immortal King, he would surely help Qing'er vent her anger. Fine. Since the demon clan is willing to stop the war, I will also give face to the demon clan of the wilderness. These 3 clans will stay. Qin Wentian's voice was emotionless, causing the experts from the 3 clans to be incomparably enraged. One of the experts from the Heavenhold race trembled as he roared in rage. Let's join forces and kill him. I don't believe his illusionary arts are so powerful. Qin Wentian soared up into the air, staring at the greater demon from the Heavenhold race who spoke. In an instant, the greater demon only felt the sword intent penetrating his eyes. Despite his heaven-defying defense, his eyes were still penetrated by the sword intent. He directly screamed in agony as blood seeped out of his eyes. After that, numerous beams of sword intent penetrated through his body. That gigantic body of his was directly pulverized by the sword intent, an extremely shocking sight to behold. The Sabersword Immortal King is too terrifying. Many human cultivators silently mused. In this vast space, the eyes of many demons froze. Before this, although they were arrogant and could suppress humans, but now there was no one who could suppress the Sabersword Immortal King. Hence, none of the demons dared to act recklessly. After all, the Sabersword Immortal King only wanted to deal with the 3 clans. Regardless of humans or demons, they would all feel fear. When facing an invincible opponent, who would be willing to take the risk and send themselves to death? Easy. Abruptly, a terrifying might bore down. The experts from the Forok race all moved, rushing towards Qin Wentian from all directions. Their movements were as fast as lightning, especially for the one in the center. He was extremely terrifying, transforming into his true form, blotting out the sun. With a flap of his wings, golden flames shot out, shooting towards Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian waved his hand as the sword river gushed forth endlessly, clashing against the energy in the air. With a stomp of his foot, the heavens and earth rumbled as his pagoda law domain manifested, directly enveloping everything within it. Waves of pagoda intent gushed forth, resembling divine pagodas that shot out, exuding a tyrannical destructive might as they blasted into the bodies of the Forok experts. In an instant, the Forok experts were all annihilated by Qin Wentian's terrifying attacks. Even the powerful demon kings of the Forok race couldn't withstand his attacks. What a perfect law domain! Many humans, Wu Xiao, sighed in admiration. They were all famous immortal kings and had outstanding talent. They could naturally see how perfect the pagoda law domain was. Back then, when the Sabersword Immortal King broke through to the peak stage of the Immortal King realm, he dared to challenge the Yama King and killed him within 9 seconds. Now that another 10 years have passed, his strength should have grown much stronger compared to back then. However, there was still one Empyrean-level Forok. His strength was heaven-shaking. His entire body flowed with powerful runic light, like a suit of armor. Even when the pagoda intent descended, it only caused his body to tremble. It had no way to destroy him. His body radiated boundless light, transforming into attacks that collided with the pagoda intent. A gigantic claw lashed out. He arrived at the edge of the pagoda prison and unleashed a shocking attack towards the pagoda light. A heaven-shocking demonic art was unleashed, and cracks appeared on the pagoda. It was actually about to shatter. From this, it could be seen how terrifying his attack was. Qin Wentian was expressionless. His palms blasted out in the air, blotting out the sun as they transformed into a transcendent-level palm imprint. The palm imprint exuded the might of a sword-shaped pagoda as it blasted downwards, aiming for the gigantic body. That Forok's expression drastically changed when he saw this scene. This attack seemed to be even stronger compared to the pagoda law domain. He roared in rage and blasted out demonic arts, yet he was unable to block Qin Wentian's attack. That sword pagoda slammed down with the palm imprint, wanting to annihilate everything, directly enveloping him within. His gigantic body struggled madly, wanting to flee, but he discovered that it was impossible for him to do so. He was directly bound by the pagoda formation, and his body was being destroyed bit by bit. When the experts from the Void Beast race and Heavenhold race saw that even the Forok race's expert was killed, the trace of hope in their hearts was shattered. A powerful spatial light flashed as the expert from the Void Beast race directly tore through the void. After knowing that he was no match for the Forok race, he could only flee. Do you all still want to flee? Qin Wentian's calm voice rang out. Those void beasts who were fleeing only felt that they had entered another dimension. Their eyes flashed with a demonic light, extremely unsightly to behold. How could this be? They had used their spatial innate talents to flee, but they were actually still trapped within the illusory law domain. There was no way for them to escape from this. Since you all want to kill us humans, just stay behind. Qin Wentian's voice rang out. After that, the sword intent from the pagoda descended, causing the void beasts to howl in rage. However, it was useless as they died one after another. Not a single one of the void beasts could survive. In the air, only the experts from the Heavenhold race remained. Their ugly eyes flashed with fear. One of the greater demons from the Heavenhold race howled madly. Sabersword Immortal King, you killed so many demons. Do you think you can still live after leaving the city of ancient emperors? Even now you still dare to threaten this seat? Qin Wentian coldly spoke. With a wave of his hand, the pagoda law domain appeared once more, wanting to kill everything. The greater demons from the Heavenhold race howled in rage and curses as they died one after another. When the dust finally settled, the demon kings from the 3 races were all killed. In all directions, the experts from the demon races stood in great numbers, but right now silence was everywhere. 10 years ago, the Sabersword Immortal King rose to fame after a single battle. He killed the Yama king and the other kings of the Sanluo immortal empire. 10 years later he killed the demon kings of the 3 races, causing a great calamity to befall him. However, he didn't seem to realize this at all. He merely calmly stared at the Namhuang clan and GD's followers as he smiled. These vile beasts actually dared to disturb the fairies of the immortal realms. They truly don't know the immensity of death. This seat has already eliminated them. In the future, if there are still people who covet the fairies of my immortal realms, this seat will definitely not disturb them. Only to see many beautiful immortal kings from GD's followers clasping their hands to Qin Wentian as they expressed their thanks. Many thanks to the Sabersword Immortal King for helping us. Don't worry about it. We are all Wuxiu of the immortal realms. How can we allow the fairies here to be humiliated by these vile beasts? In the future, if there's such a thing, fairies can just look for me directly. Qin Wentian spoke righteously. Qing Er's eyelashes fluttered, silently rolling her eyes when she saw that fellow boasting. This fellow really knew how to act. Senior brother is awesome. Jun Mengchen sighed in his heart. He was filled with reverence towards Qin Wentian. Fairies, this seat has cultivated for many years, and now, I also wish to come into contact with the outside world and temper myself. I wish to travel together with the fairies. I wonder what fairies are willing to do. Qin Wentian spoke to the experts from Ji Chang's gate, his words causing the fairies to exchange mutual glances. What did this Sabersword Immortal King mean by this? Could it be that the Sabersword Immortal King was interested in one of them? As they thought of this, they saw the Sabersword Immortal King's gaze landing on Qing Er as though he understood something. However, they understood Qing Er very well. With Qin Wentian around, how could she fall in love with anyone else? Hence, one of the maidens transmitted her voice to Qing Er, junior sister. Do you have any objections? Although the Sabersword Immortal King killed 3 greater demons, there are still more of them in the city of ancient emperors. If we have a grudge with them before this, we might attract trouble. Qing Er replied, her words causing that maiden to start. She had actually neglected this point. Could it be that the Sabersword Immortal King wanted to protect them? Since the Sabersword Immortal King has spoken, we naturally have no objections. We can discuss the martial Dao with the Sabersword Immortal King and verify our knowledge. The female Immortal King clasped her hands and smiled. Sure, other than discussing the martial Dao, we might even have the chance to talk about other things. Qin Wentian laughed. Cough cough. Jun Mengchen perspired. This senior brother of his was simply shameless. Qing Er also rolled her eyes. This bastard rogue. Chapter 1505. The experts in the surroundings were all stunned by Qin Wentian's words. Was this still the Sabersword Immortal King who killed the Yama Crown Prince in 9 seconds and killed the 3 great demon clans? This was simply shameless. Tempering oneself in the mortal world, other than the martial path, he still dared to talk about other things. There were so many beautiful immortal kings here, what other things could there be? This was simply too shameless. So it turned out that this Sabersword Immortal King wasn't just strong, he was also very good at picking up girls. The fairies of the Namhuang clan. Why don't you join us as well? After that, Qin Wentian's next sentence caused everyone to be speechless. There were so many beautiful immortal kings under GD, and he was still not satisfied? He even wanted to drag the fairies of the Namhuang clan as well? He was simply worse than a beast. The holy maidens of the Namhuang clan all had strange looks on their faces. However, they already had some friendship with Qin Wentian before this and came to the city of ancient emperors together. It's just that the Sabersword Immortal King now was no longer the same as before. He was much more powerful now and had already become a peak character. Sure. Nanfeng Yunqi naturally nodded her head. She knew of Qin Wentian's identity and naturally agreed to it. But as soon as she said this, she instantly regretted it. Because she noticed that the other sisters around her were all looking at her strangely. Their gazes were as strange as they could get. Although the Namhuang clan was acquainted with the Sabersword Immortal King, his words earlier caused everyone's imaginations to run wild. Even if he was acquainted with him, there was no need for him to agree so readily, right? Could it be, upon thinking of this, the gazes of the fairies of the Namhuang clan grew even stranger. Namhuang Yunqi's face turned red from embarrassment, causing many immortal kings to be dumbfounded. Namhuang Yunqi was originally an incomparably beautiful maiden, exuding a sense of nobility and coldness. Yet now she actually revealed such a shy expression. How moving was this? Many people were completely dumbfounded when they saw this. Could it be that Nam Hwang Yunshi is interested in this saber-sword immortal king? Everyone couldn't help but think about it. Not only them, even the saintesses of the Nam Hwang clan had the same thought. However, since they were friends and Nam Hwang Yunshi had agreed, the saintesses of the Nam Hwang clan naturally wouldn't have any objections. They all nodded. I also want to discuss the martial Tao with Fairy Zhu, can I? A weak voice drifted over. The gazes of everyone turned over only to see Little Rascal transforming into a snow-white and adorable little demon as he walked over. That must be the Little Rascal beside Qin Wentian, right? A fairy maiden from the Nam Hwang clan laughed. Nam Hwang Yunshi nodded. This little bastard is still so lecherous. Nam Hwang Yunshi, don't malign me. Little Rascal spoke adorably. After that, he turned to Qing'er and spoke, Qing'er, this Baobao missed you. Where did this demonic beast come from? Scram, do you believe that this seat won't kill you? Qin Wentian turned and glared at Little Rascal. Little Rascal actually dared to steal his lines? Was this little fellow itching for a beating? Do you think this Baobao is afraid of you? Little Rascal stretched out his paw and provoked. Saber Sword Immortal King. This demonic beast isn't the same as other demonic beasts. He has some connection with junior sister Qing'er. Saber Sword Immortal King. Please don't be impulsive. A female immortal king from Jichang's gate hurriedly spoke. They had all witnessed the arrogance of the Saber Sword Immortal King before. This little rascal actually dared to talk back to him? Was he not afraid that the Saber Sword Immortal King would kill him in a fit of anger? What she didn't know was that Little Rascal wasn't afraid at all. This fellow had a connection with Qin Wentian. How could he be afraid of Qin Wentian? Fairy, ignore him. He might be able to scare others, but he won't be able to scare this Baobao. Little Rascal stubbornly spoke. After that, he leaped onto Qing'er's body, causing Qing'er to be speechless. Sister Goddess, I'll stay together with Qing'er. I'll look for you to play again in the future. Little Rascal spoke to the nine-tailed fox. The nine-tailed fox nodded lightly. After that, her silhouette flashed as she directly left this place. Beside her, an incomparably gigantic figure soared through the air, leaving together with her. This was none other than her servant. The experts from the demon races also dispersed. The human Wuxiu was still there. Qin Wentian glanced in the direction of Qing'er. Upon seeing Qing'er and the devil cultivators from the Judiciary Hall silently leaving, he didn't say anything. He hoped that Qing'er would always be safe and sound. He owed this last too much. Nam Hwang Yunshi, I'll go with you guys. Jun Mingchen spoke. They were acquainted with each other. Nam Hwang Yunshi nodded. The holy maidens of the Nam Hwang clan naturally wouldn't have any objections. The experts from the heavenly talisman realm glanced over there and didn't say anything. They stared at Qin Wentian as they sighed in their hearts. To think that such a powerful character would actually appear in their heavenly talisman realm. This was even more powerful compared to their senior brother Tuoba Saint Sky. Truly, there were many crouching tigers and hidden dragons. It was just that they had never heard of this saber sword immortal king before. Finally, the experts from the heavenly talisman realm all dispersed. The beauties around Qin Wentian were as common as the clouds, and all of them were at the immortal king realm. Saber sword immortal king, you killed 3 greater demons from the 3 races. I'm afraid there would really be trouble for you in the future. After all, once you exit the city of ancient emperors, the 3 greater demons and the Sanluo immortal empire would definitely not spare you. A female immortal king reminded. Don't worry about it. When I saw the fairies being humiliated by those vile beasts, how can this seat stand by and watch? Qin Wentian casually spoke. His gaze landed on Qing'er as he smiled. However, Senior GD is truly awesome. Not only do the disciples under her sect have outstanding talent, all of them are beauties as well, truly broadening my horizons. No wonder those vile beasts would be moved. For example, a fairy like Qing'er, even this seat would be stunned by her beauty. Pooh! Jun Mengchen's face was filled with black lines. He clasped his hands to Qin Wentian. Saber sword immortal king, I'm truly impressed. It was true that he was filled with reverence for his senior brother Qin. Qin Wentian actually dared to tease his sister-in-law in public? simply shameless to the extreme. And as expected, Qing who was as pure as a snow lotus, also couldn't endure Qin Wentian's teasing. She transmitted her voice back. "You are shameless." Qin Wentian couldn't help but to laugh in his heart when he saw the embarrassed look on Qing face. Sabersword Immortal King. You might not know this, but junior sister Qing already has someone in her heart. She's married to Qin Wentian of the immortal Qianbian Gate, Chongqing the Great. A female immortal king with a voluptuous figure walked to the side of Qin Wentian, as she spoke in a gentle voice. Although she has cultivated for many years because of her strength, she looked to be in her 20s. She was extremely beautiful and could be considered a peak-tier beauty. So this is the case. This seat doesn't have any other intentions. Qin Wentian seriously nodded. Everyone rolled their eyes. It would be strange if he didn't have any other intentions. Sabersword Immortal King. What's so special about your illusory arts? Why are they so powerful? That female immortal king smiled at Qin Wentian. No longer mentioning the matter of Qing, the maidens in the surroundings exchanged mutual glances. Seems like their junior sister Junyi was interested in the Sabersword Immortal King. When they thought of this, they smiled and walked away. Their junior sister Junyi's looks were outstanding, and her talent was also extremely high. As fellow apprentice sisters, they were very familiar with each other and knew that their junior sister Junyi had disdain for many men because she herself was very strong. However, this Sabersword Immortal King was definitely a dragon among men, causing their junior sister Junyi's heart to be moved. She actually took the initiative to speak to him. There's nothing special about it. In addition, it isn't a pure illusion. It's a dreamscape law domain formed from Dreamforce. Qin Wentian didn't hide anything as he spoke. Let alone GD's followers. Even if other enemies knew about it, they wouldn't be able to guard against it. This domain itself was extremely tyrannical, similar to the Azura Hell of the Yama Crown Prince. In fact, it was even more tyrannical than the Azura Hell. Being able to transform a dreamscape into a law domain and cultivate it to such a high level, how did you cultivate it exactly? Immortal King Junyi smiled, extremely moving. The two of them started chatting and seemed to hit it off very well. Many disciples of GD's followers all nodded silently. If their junior sister Junyi could fall in love with this Sabersword Immortal King, it would truly be a wonderful thing. However, this caused Qing heart to tremble. Her beautiful eyes kept flickering. There was no way for her to remain calm when she saw this bastard trying to deceive her senior sister's feelings. What do you want to do? Qing transmitted her voice to Qin Wentian. Qing, it's not good for me to expose myself. I can only let nature take its course. Qin Wentian replied, suppressing his laughter in his heart. His immortal sense had been observing the changes in Qing's expression. When he saw her, who was usually calm and pure, actually had a hint of jealousy on her face, he felt joy in his heart. He didn't expect that even Qing would be jealous. This was the situation here. And in the city of ancient emperors, after the spectators from the battlefield dispersed, the Sabersword Immortal King's fame was like the sun in the sky. He once again swept through the city of ancient emperors. He domineeringly annihilated 3 races. How arrogant was he, simply unexcelled in the world. In fact, he didn't even place that supreme expert from the Sun Gold race in his eyes. In addition, there was still a supremely powerful existence from the Fourok race. The Sabersword Immortal King actually ignored him and killed an expert from the Fourok race. This was simply lawless. Very swiftly, news circulated out. After that supreme expert from the Fourok race received the news, he started to search for the Sabersword Immortal King, wanting to kill him. After that supreme expert from the Fourok race also released the news, setting a time and location for the battle. This news circulated through the entire city of ancient emperors, causing many dazzling characters to be filled with anticipation. In the city of ancient emperors, in a mountain range, a character in black robes exuded an incomparably violent aura. An immortal king stood before him and reported the news. That immortal king nodded, "I'll be there." In another location, the waves of the sea churned unceasingly. At this moment, a figure slowly walked out from the waves. Every step he took caused the waves to churn. Finally, he walked out from the sea and arrived at the shore. Several immortal kings bowed to him. Interesting. I also want to see how strong the other peak characters are. He inclined his head and stared at the law energy cascading down from the sky as his expression was incomparably calm. There was another ancient mountain that was incomparably gigantic. This ancient mountain was actually in the shape of a human and was shining with resplendent light. The radiance from the Tao elements that cascaded down from the sky actually seeped into it, incomparably resplendent. At this moment, countless cracks appeared on the ancient mountain. After that, rumbling sounds rang out unceasingly as boulders from the ancient mountain tumbled about. A beam of intense light shot out, shooting straight up into the clouds. With a thunderous boom, the ancient mountain seemed to have been cleansed of all its splendor. There was actually an ancient Buddha sitting cross-legged there. The emperor's fate behind him soared upwards, no longer able to contain it. He inclined his head slightly and opened his eyes. After that he stood up. It was time for him to go out for a walk. He was only a step away from the immortal emperor realm. The city of ancient emperors trembled. Those characters who have been silent for many years, but their names have long resounded throughout the city of ancient emperors. Chapter 1506. Waves of commotion rose in the city of ancient emperors. However, during this period of time, Qin Wentian was extremely carefree. In this place there were only him and Junmengchen, Jidi's followers and the Namhuang clan around him. Truly, he was surrounded by beauties and was extremely happy. They weren't in a hurry to cultivate. Everyone knew that Qin Wentian had to go there, and many people were silently worried for him. At this moment, Qin Wentian was lying on a gigantic boulder on an ancient mountain, staring at the Tao elements cascading down from the air. His eyes were incomparably deep, as resplendent as the constellations in the night sky. The sound of footsteps rang out. A beautiful figure leaped onto the boulder and sat down beside Qin Wentian. She had a sweet face and her long hair hung down in front of Qin Wentian. One could even smell a faint fragrance wafting from her. This woman was none other than immortal King Junyi. During these days she was clearly trying to get close to Qin Wentian. Right now the people around her all knew what was going on. Junior sister Junyi has fallen. From afar, Jidi's followers sat together, smiling as they stared in that direction. But the saber-sword immortal king has yet to express his stance. Although he is polite, he gives off a sense of distance, as though he is intentionally distancing himself from her. I'm somewhat worried. A female sighed. This saber-sword immortal king has a different gaze when he looks at junior sister Qing. Sigh, I'm afraid junior sister Junyi doesn't have much hope. Someone glanced at Qing'er. Qing'er lowered her head. It wasn't too good for her to reveal Qin Wentian's identity. It wasn't that she didn't trust her fellow apprentice sisters, but if she said it out loud, all GD's followers would know about it. If this was leaked, she knew how severe the consequences would be. Qin Wentian had offended too many people using his identity as the saber-sword immortal king. And this time around, senior sister Junyi seemed to be truly moved, wanting to get closer to Qin Wentian. She was very proactive and everyone could tell her feelings. Qin Wentian was also depressed. He didn't expect to meet a woman like Junyi. He couldn't help but transmit his voice to Qing'er. Qing'er, what should we do? You're the one who caused this. Why are you asking me? Qing'er replied with a trace of resentment. Qin Wentian felt wronged and said gloomily, Qing'er, I'm innocent too. Qing'er's eyes flashed. She knew that it wasn't anyone's fault, so she could only say, senior sister has a cheerful personality. This is her sincerity. Otherwise she wouldn't have acted like this. I don't want senior sister to be hurt. As time passes she would naturally understand my attitude. If not, we can only wait until we leave the city of ancient emperors and the saber-sword immortal king vanishes from this world. Qin Wentian sighed. He could feel many cold eyes staring at him. He could only smile bitterly in his heart. Do you hate me? Do you feel that I'm too casual? Junyi hugged her knees, her beautiful eyes staring at the scenery ahead as she softly spoke. How can that be? Immortal King Junyi is so beautiful. I naturally only admire you. Qin Wentian's heart trembled as he calmly replied. My fellow apprentice sisters must be laughing at me. Immortal King Junyi didn't seem to have heard it. She continued to mumble to herself. It's nothing much. After cultivating for so many years, although I have many sisters with me, I would still feel lonely sometimes. It's just that I've never been able to find a suitable Dao companion. Your appearance gave me a different feeling. However, I know that although my looks are not bad, there's still a distance between me and junior sister Qing, let alone a character like you. Only peak-level beauties would be able to match up to you. Qin Wentian perspired. He didn't expect that even immortal King Juni could tell that he liked Qing. From afar, the disciples of Jichang's Gate and Namhuang clan all inclined their heads and stared over. Juni didn't conceal her voice, they naturally heard it. Junior sister. Some of GD's followers stood up and called out. Senior Marshal's sister. Qing'er also called out in a crisp voice. It's fine, I'm just speaking my mind. There's no need to worry about me. Juni turned her head and smiled at her fellow apprentice sisters. After that, she spoke to Qin Wentian who was beside her. Junior sister Qing'er's background is good. Her talent is good and she's also beautiful. Anyone would like her. It's just that she already has someone she loves. Why is it that your gaze when you look at her is different? And why are you avoiding my gaze? Immortal King Juni, there are some things that are impossible to explain. Even if you know that there's no result, you might still have a trace of hope. Qin Wentian spoke in a light voice. Juni started, she then smiled and nodded, that's right. Even if you know that there's no hope, do you want to be like me? In the future, if you change your mind, just remember to tell me. After that, she smiled sweetly and jumped off the boulder, walking towards the side of the mountain peak. Senior sister. Qing'er walked up and called out. Junior sister Qing'er, I'm fine. This has nothing to do with you. Juni turned and smiled at Qing'er as she nodded. Staring at her smile, Qing'er faintly felt some heartache. After that, she shot a cold glare at Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian could only smile bitterly. Immortal King Juni walked to the side of the ancient mountain peak. Through the sea of clouds she stared into the distance, staring at her back view. Everyone could feel the sorrow in her heart. Beside Qing'er, a senior sister patted her on the shoulder. In the Namhuang clan, Namhuang Yunqi's eyes were filled with hidden bitterness as she glanced at Qin Wentian. After that, she glanced at that lonely back view as she silently sighed in her heart. Since ancient times, beauties have always loved heaven's chosen. His magnificence is unparalleled, how can people not like him? Sadly, the falling flowers yearn for him, but the heartless flowing water only leaves us with sorrow. The holy maiden of the Namhuang clan, Nanfeng Mingyue sighed. Jun Mengchen's eyes kept glancing left and right. When his gaze landed on Qin Wentian, he couldn't help but to sigh. His senior brother was indeed his senior brother. He couldn't help but be impressed. The date of the peak battle in the city of ancient emperors finally arrived. Today, in a vast area in the central region of the city of ancient emperors, many experts gathered here. Almost half of the immortal kings in the city of ancient emperors were here. That existence from the Sun Gold race invited all the peak characters in the city of ancient emperors to gather here. This would be the true peak battle after the transformation of the city of ancient emperors. Everyone would be able to see the glory of the supreme characters in the future. If they could continue cultivating, they would definitely become characters that stood at the peak of the immortal realms. In the current era, everyone's cultivation speed was much faster. The era of ancient emperors would soon arrive. This was something everyone believed. At that time there would be many peak stage immortal emperors. The experts in the surroundings all gathered here, occupying all directions. Only in the central region there was an extremely vast area. There was no one there, only a dilapidated ancient palace. He's here. At this moment, a peak stage immortal king spoke in a low voice, his words causing many in the surroundings to gather. Where is he? As the sound of his voice faded, a supremely terrifying demonic chi gushed over. The temperature in the air abruptly rose as the sky was dyed red. After that, an incomparably powerful figure appeared in the air. Although he was in human form, his demonic chi towered up into the sky. His eyes swept over the crowd, but no one dared to match his gaze. Where is the saber-sword immortal king? His voice contained an intense killing intent as his entire body shimmered with a dazzling light. This man was none other than a character at the peak of the Forok race, Jia Huangtian. He's here. In the battle back then, the saber-sword immortal king annihilated 3 races, including the Forok race. Jia Huangtian searched everywhere for traces of the saber-sword immortal king, but to no avail. Now, he will definitely kill the saber-sword immortal king. Many people felt their hearts trembling when they sensed the killing intent. There was no need to doubt Jia Huangtian's strength. He had an extremely noble bloodline and his strength was heaven-shaking. Roar! A thunderous roar rang out. In the air the sky changed as lightning flashed and thunder boomed. In an instant, a gigantic true dragon swooped down from the sky, radiating an aura that engulfed the surroundings. Countless people felt a stifling pressure. It was unknown how large his body was. One couldn't even see the end of it with a single glance. A pair of incomparably terrifying eyes glanced downwards. After that, he transformed into a human form and descended from the skies. His entire body exuded a tyrannical aura, and only after he descended did the crowd realize that there were many terrifying demonic dragons following behind him. All of them revered him as their leader. And at this moment, a bright beam of light shot out as another sun appeared in the sky. A sun chariot rolled over. It was none other than the supreme expert from the Sun Gold demon race who issued the challenge. He directly floated in the air as his clansmen followed behind him. What powerful auras! Everyone couldn't help but to sigh in admiration. Regardless of the emperor's fate that towered up into the clouds, or the auras they exuded, they were both extremely powerful. As expected, the demons of the desolate mountains are more impatient. There are actually 3 greater demons who have arrived first. Everyone spoke in a soft voice. After that, an expert with an incomparably imposing countenance appeared, exuding a cold aura. It was as though he came from hell. The aura he exuded caused no one to dare to get close to him. It's that supreme expert from the Netherworld race. It's rumored that he has comprehended the Tao element of the hell of samsara, and is extremely tyrannical. All of a sudden a holy light descended. The experts from the 9-tailed fox race appeared, instantly attracting the attention of countless people. This was especially so for the fox goddess in the lead. She was so breathtaking, like a goddess and not a demon. Her beauty was like a gift bestowed by the heavens. Many supreme greater demons appeared, but there were only a few who stood at the peak. It wasn't that the other demons were weak, it was just that there were no supreme greater demons among them today. There were still supreme characters among their juniors, and if they matured they would still have a chance. For example, the heaven-devouring beast. Who said that he wouldn't grow into a supreme greater demon in the future? A black-robed expert appeared. He was human, yet he exuded an incomparably wild demonic aura. He was extremely mysterious. That person from the beast god sect is incomparably mysterious and extremely dangerous. Many greater demons of the desolate mountains have died in his hands. After that, an ancient Buddha appeared. This was a Buddhist cultivator from the Wenxin temple, and he was extremely powerful. Zhang Zihua also appeared. He glanced at that expert from the Wenxin temple. Both of them obtained the Tao element's inheritance. It was inevitable that they would compete against each other. Everyone, you all came early. A calm voice rang out. From afar, a white-robed figure walked over. This white-robed figure was extremely young and had a handsome countenance. He seemed harmless and didn't exude any aura at all. However, those who knew him didn't dare to underestimate him. Just by looking at his appearance, who would dare to imagine that this white-robed young man was a devil cultivator? If Qin Wentian was here, he would definitely recognize him. He had met this person before, and it was precisely this person who told him to head to the Devil Mountain. On the Devil Mountain there was an apostle from the Apostle Devil Hall. After he arrived, a large number of devil cultivators arrived as well. They were divided into different factions. A devil cultivator whose entire body was shrouded in darkness walked out, resembling a shadow. He was from the Darkness Devil Hall. Chapter 1507. The experts from the myriad devil islands have appeared. Many people stared at the group of devil cultivators. Many of them were immortal king geniuses from the various peak powers of the immortal realms. Right now, they also gained some understanding of the myriad devil islands and knew that the strongest place in the myriad devil islands was the Devil Mountain. There were 7 devil halls on the mountain. All of them were located at the peak. Right now, the Saint Devil Hall was nothing more than a spiritual symbol. The main reason was that there were 6 supreme devil halls controlling the Devil Mountain. 3 of them were the Judiciary Devil Hall, Darkness Devil Hall, Apostle Devil Hall, as well as the Myriad Ancient Devil Hall, Imperial Dragon Devil Hall and Sky Devil Hall. Right now, in the City of Ancient Emperors, the Judiciary Devil Hall, Darkness Devil Hall and Apostle Devil Hall each had a peak character. This was the foundation of the 3 Devil Halls. They were slightly more profound. The white-robed young man was an apostle of the Apostle Devil Hall. He once told Qin Wentian and the others to go up the Devil Mountain. After that, he came to the immortal realms alone to observe the changes in the world. Right now the era has truly changed. The figure in the darkness was none other than the child of darkness of the Darkness Devil Hall, the 7 Knights Devil King. Before he left the Devil Mountain, he was already chosen by the Darkness Devil Hall to be the next Devil Lord. Other than him, there was another terrifying Devil King clad in the robes of the Judiciary Devil Hall. He was the Devil King level priest of the Judiciary Devil Hall, Du Devil King, the future Grand Priest of the Judiciary Devil Hall. 3 experts stepped out. The 3 of them represented the strength of the Myriad Devil Islands, causing many experts to turn their gazes over. They have all arrived. Only the Saber-Sword Immortal King has yet to arrive. Everyone silently mused. The people who appeared before them were all characters who stood at the peak of the City of Ancient Emperors. In the entire Immortal Realms, the Desolate Mountain Range and the Myriad Devil Islands, only a few of them had reached this level. Maybe there were other demon-level geniuses like them in the other peak powers, but they might not have matured yet, or they might already be at the Immortal Emperor level. Where is the Saber-Sword Immortal King? An enraged roar rang out. The gazes of everyone turned over. The person who spoke was a short and ugly figure with shifty eyes. The instant everyone saw him, they were all startled. It was none other than this fellow. He was a supremely powerful character from the Void Beast race. The Emperor's fate behind him towered up into the sky and was extremely terrifying. However, Qin Wentian had almost annihilated all the experts from his race in the City of Ancient Emperors. Qin Wentian had to take revenge for this. There was also a great demon of the Heavenhold race in the crowd. His eyes filled with killing intent. Huang Jiutian and the other experts from the 9 Emperors' immortal state were here as well. When he thought of the Saber-Sword Immortal King, he wanted nothing more than for the Saber-Sword Immortal King to die on the battlefield today. Back then, the humiliation of him being expelled by the Saber-Sword Immortal King within 9 seconds was something they could never forget. From then on, the geniuses of their peak powers, the 9 Emperors' immortal state, became extremely dazzling existences in the City of Ancient Emperors. No matter who saw them, they would definitely mention that incident. Given how powerful the 9 Emperors' immortal state was, they had never suffered such humiliation before. As for the Sanluo Immortal Empire, their experts in the City of Ancient Emperors were all killed by Qin Wentian. Even if there were some survivors, all of them were hiding in the crowd, not daring to show their faces. Other than them, there were also experts from the Violet Mountain Zedis sect, the Taihua Immortal Dynasty, the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom's Supreme Sword School. They were all waiting for the Saber-Sword Immortal King to appear, wanting nothing more than for the Saber-Sword Immortal King to die. But before this, even though they saw Qin Wentian, they didn't dare to act. This was especially so for the experts from the Violet Mountain Zedis sect. Zedi was enraged and gave the order to kill their way into the City of Ancient Emperors. But even though they had seen the Saber-Sword Immortal King who killed Zidao long before, none of them dared to act recklessly. Seems like he doesn't dare to come. That expert from the Gold Sun race coldly spoke. Back then when the human Wu Xiu fought against the demonic beasts, he gave the order to disperse. But after he left, Qin Wentian didn't spare the demonic beasts from the 3 desolate races, slaughtering many of them. This caused him to be extremely unhappy. This was equivalent to Qin Wentian ignoring his words, smacking his face. He will come. At this moment a voice rang out. The expert from the Gold Sun race glanced over only to see that the person who spoke was actually Jiang Zihua. His expression was calm and his tone was filled with certainty, like he believed in his own judgment. Wait. Jia Huangtian from the Forak race spoke. His expression was extremely cold as his killing intent intensified. Today, other than wanting to contend against these experts, he also wanted to kill the Saber-Sword Immortal King. Among the spectators there were experts from the Tianpeng people. Among them, the supreme greater demon who entered the Tiandao Sacred Academy together with Qin Wentian back then. The golden-winged great rock was here. Jianantian. Regardless of the Forak race of the Desolate Mountains or the Tiampeng people of the western regions, they all shared a similar bloodline. They had the same ancestor. The saber-sword immortal king is here. From afar numerous exclamations rang out. Many experts turned their heads over, and after that, they only saw a figure walking over from the air, exuding boundless elegance. There was a sword and saber strapped on his back. Other than Qin Wentian, who else could it be? Sword intent whistled through the air. Qin Wentian rode on his sword Qi and moved with lightning speed, directly arriving at the center of the crowd. As he swept his gaze over, Qin Wentian instantly felt numerous sharp gazes landing on him. Not only for the experts standing in the center, there were also many in the crowd who had malicious intents directed at him. In fact, he could even sense many killing intents from them. Seems like there are many people who want to kill me, Qin Wentian silently mused. Given how many major powers he had, there were naturally many people who wanted his life. He also knew that after he left the city of ancient emperors in the future, he could no longer maintain his identity as the saber-sword immortal king. If not, he would definitely be hunted down by all the major powers and not just by the Eastern Sage Immortal Emperor and the Violet Emperor. Most probably, there wouldn't be a place for him in the entire immortal realms. The saber-sword immortal king actually dared to show up. Many people were impressed by his courage. After offending so many experts and annihilating 3 demon races, he actually still dared to show up. Indeed, he was as arrogant as the rumors said. In his eyes there was no fear at all. For those who dared to offend him, he would kill them all. So this is the saber-sword immortal king. That Empyrean from the demon dragon race turned his gaze onto Qin Wentian. There was a look of disdain in his eyes as he spoke. It's rumored that he killed the Yama King within 9 seconds. That Yama King is truly trash. Jia Huangtian, since he annihilated your race, you can handle him. They had all heard of the battle back then. The conflict between humans and demons erupted and Qin Wentian single-handedly turned the tides, annihilating 3 demon races. This naturally caused the demons to be extremely unhappy with him. Right now, among the peak characters here, there were 5 greater demons from the Desolate Mountains, 4 humans from the Immortal Realms, and 3 devil cultivators from the myriad devil islands. Jia Huangtian coldly stared at Qin Wentian as he spoke. Saber-sword immortal king. Who gave you the guts to kill members of my Forak race? His body floated in the air as a pair of golden wings appeared. These golden wings gleamed with a blood-red light as runic inscriptions circulated around them. Spatial energy gushed forth, extremely terrifying to the extreme. Qin Wentian inclined his head and glanced at Jia Huangtian. He instantly thought of the golden-winged great rock Jianantian of the Tiampeng people, the fellow he met in the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Although this Jia Huangtian had the bloodline of a phoenix as well as the bloodline of a great rock, their eyes were somewhat similar. Naturally, the eyes of this Forak were even more terrifying, as though they could penetrate through people. Where did this bastard come from? How dare you speak to this seat like this? Qin Wentian's voice was as calm as ever, without a trace of anger. It was as though he was just speaking an insignificant sentence. Just a single sentence caused the eyes of the experts in the surroundings to widen as they stared at him. It was rumored that the saber-sword immortal king was lawless and disdainful of everything. There wasn't a single power or demon race that could be placed in his eyes before. Before this, some people were still doubtful, wanting to see for themselves how arrogant the saber-sword immortal king was exactly. But now they had seen it for themselves. Just a single sentence from him was enough to deeply understand how arrogant the saber-sword immortal king was. The Forak race was an extremely powerful race, having the bloodlines of a great rock and a phoenix. What sort of character was Jia Huangtian? A character at the peak of the city of ancient emperors. Yet when faced with Jia Huangtian's question, the saber-sword immortal king actually said, "Where did this bastard come from?" With just a single sentence, Jia Huangtian erupted forth with an incomparably violent aura. Numerous resplendent golden blades slashed towards Qin Wentian, engulfing the entire space. Qin Wentian calmly stared at this scene. He didn't dodge. His body of law energy flowed freely, allowing the attacks to land on him. After that, they all dissipated into nothingness. How impudent! He is insulting the demons of the desolate mountains again. A void beast who was spectating from afar coldly spoke. Qin Wentian directly insulted Jia Huangtian. A bastard. Clearly, he had no respect for the demons at all. Even for the other peak demons, all of them were staring at Qin Wentian. Back then when I announced a truce, you didn't listen to my words and killed 3 experts from the demon races, stirring up trouble and ignoring me. Could it be that you really think you can challenge the demons of the desolate mountains? A peak character from the Sun Gold race calmly spoke. Sunlight shone down on Qin Wentian's eyes, causing Qin Wentian to feel as though his eyes were being burned. If the reason you issued this challenge is just to make the demons of the desolate mountains work together to deal with me, feel free to do so. This seat will naturally accompany you. Qin Wentian stood with his hands behind his back, staring at the dazzling silhouette on the war chariot. Why would he fear a peak expert from the demon race? After killing the Yama King, you truly have no one in your eyes. That incomparably imposing demon dragon arrogantly spoke, glancing at Qin Wentian. You didn't invite us here just to discuss your personal grudges, right? At this moment a voice rang out. The eyes of everyone turned over, staring at the Devil King priest from the Judiciary Devil Hall. Naturally, the demon dragon on the war chariot spoke, sweeping his gaze over everyone. I'm sure all of you have long heard of each other's names. Since all of us are gathered here today, I want to see your strength and see if you all can stand at the peak of the city of ancient emperors. I have the same intention. That Devil King who was shrouded in darkness coldly spoke. It's only normal for me to take this opportunity to settle my personal grudges. Since I killed one of them, I can eliminate him from the list. Jia Huangtian spoke, still staring at Qin Wentian. Clearly, he wasn't prepared to spare Qin Wentian. Bzz. Qin Wentian's silhouette flashed as he stepped out, directly appearing in the center of this space. He flicked his sleeves, calmly glancing at everyone as he spoke. I've said it before. If you want to fight, I will accompany you. Why would this Sikh care about a mere beast? Chapter 1508. Boom! A supreme might capable of destroying the heavens and earth manifested in the air. Jia Huangtian was enraged. The entire space was dyed scarlet red as a blood-colored cloud manifested in the sky. A golden light broke through everything, enveloping the entire space. The saber-sword immortal king humiliated him once again. Why would he care about a mere beast? The Forak race was one of the strongest races in the desolate mountains. As for him, he was from the royal clan among the royal clans. This time he came out from the desolate mountains because he wanted to become the hegemon of the immortal realms. How could he allow the saber-sword immortal king to humiliate him again? Everyone retreat. Leave the battlefield open. On the war chariot, that expert from the Sun Gold race waved his hand. In an instant, the experts who were originally spectating from afar all retreated. As for those peak characters, they also retreated far away, radiating powerful auras. As peak-level characters, even if the aftershocks from the battle reached them, they naturally wouldn't be injured. The entire sky turned the color of blood, but there was still a resplendent golden light radiating from it. Jia Huangtian stared at Qin Wentian. Right now, the more arrogant you are, the more miserable your death will be. Many people have said this to this seat before. Right now, this seat is still alive, but they have long been buried in the city of ancient emperors. Qin Wentian stood with his hands behind his back, staring at Jia Huangtian. His body slowly floated up into the air, like an elegant young noble incomparably carefree. There was no trace of nervousness or fear in him at all. You killed the experts of my Forak race. After I kill you, as long as you are in contact with me, I will kill them all, leaving none alive. Jia Huangtian from the Forak race radiated killing intent. Boundless golden light transformed into sharp swords that pierced through space, piercing into Qin Wentian's body, causing terrifying rumbling sounds to echo out. Just this attack alone was enough to kill ordinary peak-stage immortal kings. From this, one could very well imagine how terrifying he was. But when these attacks landed on Qin Wentian, they had no way to break his body of laws. Just based on these words of yours, the city of ancient emperors shall be your burial ground. Qin Wentian domineeringly replied. Very good. I heard that your illusionary arts are unparalleled. With this art you can kill the Yama King. Jia Huangtian stood at his original location, as though he was waiting for Qin Wentian to use his illusionary arts on him. The people in the city of ancient emperors only know that this seat used illusions to kill the Yama King. Do they all think that this seat is only proficient in illusions? If it wasn't for the Yama King's myriad underworld chaotic art, this seat wouldn't even bother to use illusions to kill him. Since you are so arrogant, this seat can easily kill a mere beast. There's no need for me to use illusions. Qin Wentian's voice was as calm as the clouds and wind. The arrogance in his voice caused the greater demons of the desolate mountains to go berserk. Although the demons weren't facing Qin Wentian, all of them let out howls of rage, wanting Jia Huangtian to kill him immediately. Jia Huangtian's palm pressed out in the air. Instantly, the heavens and earth roared as law energy gushed forth. Boundless law energy gathered in front of his palm, transforming into numerous resplendent swords. With a wave of his hand, his movements were as smooth as flowing water. In just an instant, a sharp whistling sound rang out as the space around him trembled unstably. The great rock sword and the phoenix feather sword actually slashed through the air, aiming for Qin Wentian, wanting to engulf him within. Qin Wentian released his Vajra holy will. His entire body shone with a golden light, resembling a Vajra Dharma body that contained the power of the Buddhist path. When the sword slashed over, intense rumbling sounds rang out, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. However, Qin Wentian remained unmoved. He still had his hands clasped behind his back as he stared at Jia Huangtian. Just a minor Dao, don't bring it out to embarrass yourself. Back then, I once gave the Yama King a chance to use his full strength. However, he was too arrogant and was killed within 9 seconds. Don't repeat the same mistake. Since you are so eager to die, I will grant you your wish. Jia Huangtian spoke. The laws of heaven and earth churned intensely as the entire space rumbled, enveloping everything. With a wave of his hand, a dimension of destruction appeared in the air, completely different from this space. It seemed to be independent of this world and directly tried to devour Qin Wentian. Seems like you have also inherited the power of a spatial Dao element. Qin Wentian calmly spoke. As the sound of his voice faded, Jia Huangtian grabbed out with his hand. His hand transformed into a malevolent demonic claw that appeared from the void, grabbing onto Qin Wentian. After that, a terrifying might ripped the dimension apart, wanting to drag Qin Wentian into a space outside of this world. What a powerful spatial ability. The spectators were all stunned. As expected of an Empyrean character from the Forok race, he was truly terrifying. Qing'er Junmengchen and the others were among the spectators as well, feeling some worry in their hearts. Although they knew that Qin Wentian was strong, his opponent was similarly a terrifying character. It was impossible for them to remain as calm as water. Since this is the case, all the more I can't let you live. Killing intent flashed in Qin Wentian's eyes. Qing'er has already obtained the spatial Dao element. She would have to face attacks from experts who have obtained the same power as her. Regardless of whether this Jia Huangtian has a grudge with Qing'er or not, he would definitely act against Qing'er. Break! Qin Wentian roared. Sword-type Saint Will circulated, wanting to destroy everything, tearing apart the spatial claw that was grabbing onto him. His silhouette flashed as he soared into the air. Jia Huangtian's eyes were cold to the extreme. His silhouette flickered as he vanished from sight. A true sky rock with incredible speed shuttling through the void. This was his innate ability. Spatial freezing. A voice filled with towering killing intent rang out. The space where Qin Wentian was it seemed to come to a standstill. Even his body was frozen in the air. Jia Huangtian's strongest innate ability. The hearts of the peak characters in the surroundings trembled when they saw this scene. If they wanted to contend against Jia Huangtian, they had to face his innate techniques and ultimate arts. This was especially so for those human cultivators, they felt even more pressure. Some demonic beasts were born with innate techniques and innate techniques. After the appearance of the demon god mountain, many demonic beasts transformed and evolved, giving birth to powerful innate techniques and ultimate arts. After that, Jia Huangtian also obtained the spatial Dao element. His control over space grew to an unfathomable level. His innate ability was unleashed, causing the space around him to freeze. Qin Wentian's body stiffened. Senior brother. Jun Mengchen's eyes flashed. Such an ultimate art caused his heart to involuntarily pound. Qing'er's countenance turned pale. She cultivated spatial energy and naturally knew how terrifying this ability was. It would directly threaten Qin Wentian's life. Incinerate. Jia Huangtian's finger landed on that space. The phoenix's nirvanic extermination flames descended upon that frozen space. In just an instant, the flames seeped into that space, enveloping Qin Wentian. In just an instant, the flames drilled into Qin Wentian's body, invading his internal organs as Qin Wentian transformed into a flaming man. Boom! The powerful holy will from Qin Wentian broke apart the frozen space. However, his entire body was engulfed in flames, about to be incinerated. What a terrifying Jia Huangtian. As expected, none of these peak characters are extraordinary, and all of them have their own innate abilities. Although the Saber Sword Immortal King is powerful and once used illusions to kill the Yama King, he would most probably still be killed today. Many people sighed in admiration. The Saber Sword Immortal King, a king of an era, died just like that in a clash between peak characters? If the Saber Sword Immortal King died, his friends would surely suffer a calamity. As for the enemies of the Saber Sword Immortal King, all of them had expressions of excitement on their faces. Finally, Jia Huangtian was going to kill the Saber Sword Immortal King. He has been arrogant for so long, it's about time for him to die. Boom! Terrifying flames erupted forth, scorching the sky as the entire space was dyed red. Qin Wentian's body appeared once more. His body of laws seemed to have been incinerated into nothingness. Many flames seeped into his body, turning him into a flaming man. But at this moment, the flames on his body actually gradually dissipated. He directly stared at Jia Huangtian as his sword intent towered up into the sky, resembling a sword river that slashed outwards. Jia Huangtian's silhouette moved like lightning, directly vanishing from sight. The torrential sword river slashed through the air, cleaving the heavens and earth apart. What a powerful attack, what fast speed! Everyone sighed in admiration. When they glanced at Qin Wentian again, his eyes gleamed with a dazzling light. The flames on his body vanished completely, as though nothing had happened at all. The Saber Sword Immortal King has an undying body. It's very difficult to kill him. Someone spoke. That's right. 40 years ago, when he was at the mid-stage of the Immortal King realm, he fought against the Yama King. His body was undying, I personally witnessed it. A voice rang out from the crowd, causing everyone to be in an uproar. What a demon-level character. An undying body. Don't forget what sort of character Jia Huangtian is. He has the dual bloodlines of a golden-winged roc and a phoenix, a true royal bloodline. The ability of a divine phoenix is to undergo nirvanic rebirth and become undying. In this battle, the Saber Sword Immortal King will still die. That's right, freezing space. This innate ability is simply monstrous. Who can defend against it? The spectators discussed. As expected of a battle at the peak of the city of ancient emperors. When the battle erupted, the two experts instantly caused everyone to be stunned. Saber Sword Immortal King, you basically can't touch me. Do you regret it? Jia Huangtian's silhouette flashed as he floated in the air, staring at Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian inclined his head and smiled. You are smarter compared to the Yama King. At the very least, you knew to use your true strength right from the start. In that case, although you wouldn't be able to change the ending, you would still be able to live a little longer. Jia Huangtian's expression froze. After that, he started laughing maniacally. As he laughed, his silhouette vanished once more as a terrifying energy erupted forth, causing the space around Qin Wentian to solidify. Everything was about to be frozen. Qin Wentian's body erupted with towering law energy. He stretched out both his palms and slammed them towards the freezing space. In an instant, numerous terrifying palm imprints of law energy slammed into Qin Wentian. Each of the palm imprints contained supreme law energy, causing the formless space to crackle. It felt like the space that had yet to freeze had already been shattered. Spatial law energy flowed freely, resembling a spatial storm. He broke through. The eyes of everyone flashed as shock could be seen on their faces. The freezing of space was broken by the Saber Sword Immortal King. Even Jia Huangtian's eyes narrowed, feeling somewhat bewildered. How terrifying was the power of that palm imprint exactly? No matter how powerful an innate technique is, it's still based on law energy as the foundation. As long as the attack is stronger than everything else, there's nothing that can't be broken. Qin Wentian calmly spoke. There were no fluctuations in his heart. It was like this was an insignificant matter. He has been cultivating in the city of ancient emperors for many years, sensing the inheritances of the various Tao elements, but he didn't receive any of them. However, he wasn't wasting his time away. During these years, his comprehension of law energy was extremely deep and had long reached an extraordinary level. Chapter 1509. Jia Huangtian's expression didn't change when he heard Qin Wentian's words. He floated in the air, exuding a pressure as he coldly spoke. So what if you broke it? Next it will be your doomsday. As the sound of his voice faded, Jia Huangtian's body moved like lightning, vanishing once again. Swishing sounds of golden spatial energy gushed forth as the spatial freezing technique erupted forth once more. Qin Wentian's body shone with resplendent light as law energy cascaded down unceasingly. He was like a perfect body as boundless law energy flowed within his palms. Both of his palms blasted out in the same direction, instantly causing the space around him to shatter apart. Crackling sounds rang out as the frozen space was shattered once again. However, in just an instant Jia Huangtian's silhouette vanished once more, directly appearing in another location where Qin Wentian was. He was too fast, so fast that even immortal senses couldn't catch up. His eyes flashed as his innate ability erupted forth, causing the spatial freezing technique to blast towards Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian still stood at his original location. His palms blasted out unceasingly in different directions. Two silhouettes, one moving while the other moving, they were as still as mountains, unmoving. Their movements were as swift as lightning, causing the entire space to be engulfed by the destructive might. When the spectators stared at their battle, they were all dazzled. They were simply too powerful. The saber sword Immortal King's palms contained boundless might, shocking the heavens and earth. Qi. At this moment, after the spatial freezing technique was broken apart, Jia Huangtian didn't retreat. He continued forward with lightning speed, directly blasting out with a strike that contained boundless destructive might. Numerous rock silhouettes tore through the sky, tearing apart the palm imprints. He suddenly transformed into an incomparably gigantic rock, possessing the sharpness of a great rock and the majesty of a phoenix. His divine might was unparalleled as his terrifying claws tore through space, causing the entire space to churn as a fiery space of destruction appeared, shooting towards Qin Wentian. At this moment, Qin Wentian could clearly feel the annihilating power of space around him. In fact, although he was arrogant and unparalleled, Jia Huangtian's strength was also quite amazing. In terms of that innate space-freezing supernatural ability, if it weren't for Qin Wentian's unparalleled attack power and tyrannical strength, the entire space around him would have been frozen solid, allowing Jia Huangtian to slaughter him as he pleased. Moreover, that was only one of his innate supernatural abilities. There was also the heavenly rock speed that allowed him to shuttle through the void, as well as the ancient phoenix extinguishing flames. His strength was simply too amazing. When those sharp claws slashed over, Qin Wentian truly felt how powerful the spatial energy was, wanting to bury him within. Qin Wentian unsheathed his sword as his saint sword intent gushed forth unceasingly, fusing into his sword. With a single slash, the sword light radiating with the power of dreams directly rushed into Jia Huangtian's mind. Jia Huangtian seemed to have seen a supreme beam of sword light slashing out a true dragon, a great rock and a vermilion bird. The two attacks collided and tore apart at the same time. That extremely terrifying space was split apart by the sword. Jia Huangtian moved once more, moving like a bolt of lightning. However, this time around Qin Wentian also moved. His movement technique was extremely fast, able to see through everything with a single glance. It was like he could directly predict Jia Huangtian's movements and slashed out with no hesitation. The Dream Devil swordplay was even more perfect compared to before. Jia Huangtian was forced to defend against this sword attack. Before this, it was always him on the offense while Qin Wentian defended. But this time around, Qin Wentian took the initiative to attack. The hearts of everyone trembled when they saw this scene. The saber sword Immortal King was truly going all out. What a fast movement technique, what a powerful sword technique. Pagoda prison. Qin Wentian stepped out as pagoda light flashed. The pagoda intent blasted towards Jia Huangtian. Yet Jia Huangtian's speed was as fast as lightning. When the pagoda intent blasted towards him, Jia Huangtian merely glanced over and unleashed his innate ability, freezing the space around him, directly blocking the attack. His body moved with lightning speed as he rushed towards the edge of the law domain. His gigantic claws slashed out, causing cracks to appear on the law domain. The power of the pagoda law domain was unable to trap him. An expert like Jia Huangtian was simply too difficult to deal with. Nobody knew that right now, Jia Huangtian was also thinking the same thing. He silently mused that this saber-sword immortal king was too difficult to deal with. His attacks were too powerful and contained a bewildering intent. His eyes were also extremely terrifying, able to create illusions with a single glance. When fighting against the saber-sword immortal king, one had to be extremely careful. The two of them separated. Jia Huangtian floated in the air, staring at Qin Wentian. His eyes gleamed with sharpness as though he was contemplating. After that, his silhouette flashed, vanishing from sight once more. He soared through the air, circling around Qin Wentian. At this moment, the entire space around him froze as boundless law energy gushed forth, wanting to bury the heavens and earth. Qin Wentian stared at Jia Huangtian, who was rushing over. His eyes gleamed with the light of truth, as though he could see through everything, seeing through Jia Huangtian's intentions. Bzz. Jia Huangtian once again appeared before Qin Wentian, his speed reaching an inconceivable level. His gigantic body unleashed a heaven-shaking attack as a supreme sword appeared in the air. It resembled a heavenly rock, yet also resembled an ancient phoenix, directly piercing through the heavens and earth, aiming for Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian's sword slashed out with no hesitation. His sword intent towered, arcing through the 9 heavens, penetrating through everything. Boom! Jia Huangtian descended. His wings covered the sky, flowing with boundless law energy as he directly attacked Qin Wentian's sword. His invincible wings were broken apart at this moment. Qin Wentian's sword intent directly penetrated through the wings, piercing into Jia Huangtian's gigantic body, causing the hearts of everyone to tremble violently. Jia Huangtian, what is he trying to do? He actually used his invincible wings to block this sword attack. In that case, what about the attack he was preparing? Jia Huangtian's wings flapped as golden blood flowed. The blood in his body churned as he coldly spoke, "Space freeze." As the sound of his voice faded, the space around him froze once more. At this moment, Qin Wentian basically didn't have time to attack. Space froze as Jia Huangtian spread open his wings. That supremely powerful heavenly rock and ancient phoenix sword slashed down. What a crazy Jia Huangtian! He forcibly endured this sword attack from the saber-sword immortal king, wanting to kill the saber-sword immortal king directly. Jia Huangtian is the king of the Forok race. He has phoenix blood flowing in his veins and is able to undergo nirvanic rebirth. He is the same as the saber-sword immortal king, having an undying body. How difficult would it be to kill him? Although this sword attack can injure him, it definitely won't be able to kill him. The saber-sword immortal king is finished. Many experts mused. It was like they could already see Qin Wentian's death. However, at this moment, Qin Wentian's gaze penetrated through everything, directly landing on Jia Huangtian's eyes. Within Qin Wentian's resplendent eyes, a fearsome killing intent could be seen as well. At this instant, Jia Huangtian felt a supreme figure rushing towards him, wanting to destroy his soul. This figure was none other than Qin Wentian. Die! Jia Huangtian roared in rage, ignoring everything. No matter what attacks he had to endure, he wanted to kill Qin Wentian. As long as he could kill Qin Wentian, all attacks would be useless. He saw the supremely powerful sword light penetrating through everything. His sword slashed down, shattering the frozen space, penetrating through Qin Wentian's body, directly killing him. His eyes flashed with coldness. Was he finally going to die? Even if it was a soul attack or a dream art, what could it do to him? Something's wrong. At this moment he felt a piercing pain in his soul. The terrifying attack was still attacking him. His heart trembled as he felt a bone-piercing coldness. If the saber-sword immortal king's attack was still there, What happened earlier? An illusion, a dreamscape. Jia Huangtian instantly understood. His will was incomparably resolute. After that, he only saw Qin Wentian appearing not far away from him. Qin Wentian's body seemed to have been pierced by a sharp sword, but he still stood there proudly. In addition, his gigantic body resembled his true form, transforming into a supreme immortal king. Both his palms radiated a fearsome might as he blasted out. Jia Huangtian retreated explosively, as he unleashed his spatial energy to the extreme. However, Qin Wentian's palms penetrated through the heavens and earth, suppressing everything. They were like two supremely powerful grand formations as boundless destructive might bore down on him, enveloping him. The pagoda intent that could suppress everything, as well as the sword saint intent that could pierce through the 9 heavens, fused into his body. Arc. Boom. A terrifying flame manifested, resembling inextinguishable nirvanic flames, enveloping his body, wanting to protect him from being extinguished. Do you still want to live? Qin Wentian's eyes gleamed with a terrifying light. As his attacks penetrated through Jia Huangtian's body, the destructive might blasted into the nirvanic flames, penetrating into Jia Huangtian's soul. No matter how strong the technique was, it was impossible for him to protect Jia Huangtian's life. Saber Sword Immortal King. Jia Huangtian let out a frenzied roar. However, Qin Wentian didn't seem to have heard it. He wanted to kill Jia Huangtian here no matter what. His countenance was extremely cold. Saber Sword Immortal King. Many people sighed, feeling disdain in their hearts. In the past, the Saber Sword Immortal King killed the Yama King. Now, could it be that he wanted to kill Jia Huangtian of the Forak race as well? Did he want to offend all the major powers here? Saber Sword Immortal King? From the void, another cold laugh rang out. It was unknown where this voice originated from, but it clearly rang out in the ears of everyone, containing a mysterious energy within. You guys should refer to him as Qin Wentian, that would be more appropriate. That voice rang out once more. As the sound of his voice faded, it was unknown how many people felt their hearts pounding. This was especially so for those who knew of Qin Wentian. All of them felt their hearts pounding madly. Saber Sword Immortal King Qin Wentian? This voice came from the void, as though he was afraid that the Saber Sword Immortal King would take revenge on him if his identity was revealed. However, was this unexcelled Saber Sword Immortal King really Qin Wentian? Qin Wentian himself also felt his heart pounding violently. He was extremely cautious, appearing in the city of ancient emperors with the Saber Sword Immortal King's arrogance. His personality, appearance, and aura had all changed. Who would still be able to recognize him? Could it be that attack earlier? Impossible. Although that attack was unleashed by God's hand, he had intentionally concealed it. This basically didn't mean anything. In the entire immortal realms, only he was proficient in God's hand. Unless he was like back then when he killed the Yama King in the Dreamscape domain. Chapter 15:10. Who was the person who exposed his identity exactly? Qinger Junmengchen, Nam Huang Yunxi and the others who knew of Qin Wentian's identity all felt their hearts trembling as a sense of unease appeared in their hearts. Although Qin Wentian had many enemies in the past, this time around, he used the identity of the Saber Sword Immortal King to kill many of them. For example, Zidaolong, the Taihua Immortal Dynasty, the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom, the Supreme Sword School, and also some new powers that wanted to kill him. Among them, the Sanluo Immortal Empire was the one who killed the crown prince of the Sanluo Immortal Empire, the Yama King. In this case, after his identity was exposed, one could very well imagine the pressure Qin Wentian would face. It wouldn't just be Zidi and Dongsheng Heaven Emperor hunting him down. Most probably, given how vast the immortal realms are, no one would be able to protect him. Even the Southern Phoenix Matriarch wouldn't be able to do so. Qin Wentian. As expected at this moment, the experts from the Violet Mountain under Zidi all had a terrifying gleam in their eyes. There were also experts from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom, 9 Emperors Immortal State and the other major powers. Their eyes all gleamed with coldness. If the Saber Sword Immortal King was truly Qin Wentian, he must not be allowed to live no matter what. Has he actually grown to such a terrifying extent? This was unbelievable. However, many people faintly felt that this was the truth. The saber-sword immortal king was truly Qin Wentian. His countenance was originally filled with mysteriousness, and everyone thought that this had something to do with the illusory arts he cultivated. But now it seems like it was because he wanted to hide his identity. In addition, Qin Wentian's fiancée, Qing'er, was in the city of ancient emperors. Jun Mengchen, Nam Huang Yunxi and his demonic beast companions were all here. But what about him? Thinking back to earlier when Qin Wentian helped out, it seemed as though he was helping the people of the immortal realms. But now that he thought about it, it was actually because he wanted to help his fiancée. Qin Wentian annihilated the 3 great demon clans. Was he helping his fiancée to vent her anger? The people here were not fools. At this moment when they thought about it, they felt their hearts tremble inexplicably. This voice was very likely to be real. Who dares to speak up in the dark? Did this seat offend you? Qin Wentian roared as the power of his palms continued to strike out at Jia Huangtian. Take off your mask and you will naturally know the truth. Right now, although you intentionally concealed your attack, other than God's hand, I truly have no way to imagine that there would be such an innate technique in the immortal realms. In addition, could it be that the saber-sword immortal king appeared out of nowhere? That voice seemed to originate from the void, echoing throughout the area. Everyone stared at Qin Wentian's attack. As expected, there were traces of God's hand within it. No wonder he is so lawless, killing so many experts. So it turns out that he has disguised his identity. Once he exits the city of ancient emperors, the saber-sword immortal king would vanish forever. Who would be able to find him for revenge? That void beast from afar coldly spoke. If you want to know if he is Qin Wentian or not, it's very simple. Just directly attack Evergreen Qing'er and we will know. As the sound of this voice rang out, many terrifying gazes instantly landed on Qing'er. At this moment, GD's followers all felt as though they were facing a great enemy. Immortal Queen Juni's beautiful eyes flashed with an extremely complicated expression. So it turned out that the saber-sword immortal king was Qin Wentian? She naturally believed it because before this, the saber-sword immortal king had always been interested in Qing'er. So it turned out that this was actually the case. Sadly, it was just her wishful thinking. At this moment, Qin Wentian understood that he could no longer hide his identity. His eyes flashed with a cold killing intent. This person who exposed his identity was truly despicable, wanting to consign him to eternal damnation. Saber-sword immortal king, since your identity has already been exposed, why are you still not releasing me? Jia Huangtian's voice was low and heavy, clearly extremely weak. He was still bitterly enduring as the nirvanic undying flames burned even brighter. As long as these flames weren't extinguished, his life wouldn't be extinguished. Qin Wentian coldly glanced at Jia Huangtian as an intense killing intent flashed in his eyes. Die! With a single word, the power of God's hand was fully unleashed. On the surface of the gigantic palm imprint, numerous runes manifested as a divine-like light erupted forth, transforming into a perfect version of God's hand. Jia Huangtian screamed in agony. Saber-sword immortal king, are you courting death? Qin Wentian's eyes gleamed with a terrifying killing intent as his soul energy penetrated through. With a thunderous boom, Jia Huangtian's nirvanic undying flames were extinguished as his gigantic body directly dissipated. Another peak character died in the hands of the saber-sword immortal king. No matter if he was the saber-sword immortal king or Qin Wentian, it was already enough for him to feel proud. The eyes of countless experts froze there. His identity has already been exposed, but he still directly killed Jia Huangtian. The spectators only saw Qin Wentian turning his head. His gigantic body was like an unexcelled divinity. His eyes were extremely terrifying as he stared at the void beast. Just a single glance from him caused the void beast to tremble violently as it felt a chill run down its spine as a sense of unease appeared in its heart. Busy. That void beast was extremely decisive. Spatial energy erupted forth as he unleashed his innate technique, directly shooting through the air, wanting to flee. Qin Wentian didn't say anything. He directly lifted his hand and grabbed out in the air. A gigantic palm imprint that was like the manifestation of a divinity tore through space. The void beast instantly fled to a faraway location, but it suddenly felt a supreme pressure bearing down on it. It felt like there was a pagoda's sacred might boring down on it. When it inclined its head, it only saw a gigantic palm imprint descending from the heavens, blotting out the sun and sky. His expression was one of shock as he frantically fled, continuing to traverse the void to escape. However, that supreme power directly crushed everything, suppressing the world and the void. A deity-like palm slammed down, blocking his path forward and instantly capturing him. Boom! The palm imprint smashed down. That void beast didn't even have the time to scream before it was directly turned into ashes. The saber-sword immortal king, who was enraged, radiated killing intent, causing the spectators to feel their hearts palpitating. That void beast soared through the air, fleeing far away, but it was still killed by a single palm strike from the saber-sword immortal king. Because he said something he shouldn't have said. As expected, impulsiveness is the devil. That void beast thought that Qin Wentian would be enraged and the consequences would be extremely dire. He didn't expect that after Qin Wentian's identity was exposed, he was even more terrifying compared to the saber-sword immortal king. The saber-sword immortal king seemed to have no more reservations. He had already offended so many experts and killed the kings of the 3 demon races. Why would he care about killing a few more? The saber-sword immortal king referred to himself as the original body. His words were filled with boundless arrogance. However, before a battle, he had to use words to display his arrogance. But right now, Qin Wentian didn't say anything and directly acted, killing Zhao Huangtian and the void beast. When his gaze swept over, those people who wanted to rush towards Qing all froze there. How would anyone dare to act recklessly? That would simply be courting death. In the vast space, a light wind gusted by, fluttering the robes of the crowd. One could very well imagine how silent the atmosphere was right now. Qin Wentian swept his gaze over everyone. Lowering his head slightly, he brushed his palm across his eyes. When he inclined his head again, an extraordinarily handsome face appeared. His facial features were clearly defined, and there was a hint of coldness in his resoluteness. His eyes were incomparably deep, akin to the resplendent constellations in the night sky. Qin Wentian coldly stated, "This seat is Qin Wentian." The vast space was deathly silent. The saber-sword immortal king actually hid his true identity. He was Qin Wentian from the eastern regions, a disciple of the immortal Qinbian Gate, the son-in-law of Chongqing the Great. He was incomparably arrogant on the Demon God Mountain, and was killed by the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor in Zidi. It was only because the Southern Phoenix matriarch protected him that Qin Wentian managed to leave alive. He had been missing for many years. So it turned out that he had long entered the city of ancient emperors and became the saber-sword immortal king, becoming a peak character. He killed the crown prince of the Sanluo immortal empire, Zhao Huangtian of the Forak race, Zi Daolong of Zidi, killed many experts from the Supreme Sword School and the Taihua immortal dynasty, as well as the 3 supreme demon kings. For those who once knew Qin Wentian and had a grudge against him, great waves of shock rose in their hearts. In just a short span of tens of years, he had already grown to such a level? For immortal kings in the immortal realms, there were very few who could suppress him. If they didn't kill him now, when he broke through to the immortal emperor realm, there would be fewer and fewer people who could suppress him. In the past, although he was somewhat famous, his cultivation base was low. But now he had truly grown up. His growth was so fast and sudden. This point left a deep impression on the people of the Violet Mountain sect. In the past, they only knew that Zi Daolong's death had something to do with Qin Wentian. Zi Daolong once tried to kidnap Qin Wentian but failed. But who would have thought that Zi Daolong actually died in Qin Wentian's hands? If Zidi learned of this, it was unknown how he would feel. In the camp of the 9 emperors' immortal state, Huang Zhouqian had an unsightly expression on his face. But the one who felt the greatest shock was none other than Huang Shatian, who had already broken through to the peak stage of the mid-stage. Huang Shatian had worked so hard in his cultivation, yet Huang Shatian still managed to walk further and further away from him. Huang Shatian was one of the many experts of the 9 emperors' immortal state, including him, were all forced to retreat by a single sentence from Qin Wentian back then. The disciples of the heavenly talisman realm were shocked as well. After that, they glanced at Nam Huang Yunxi, thinking in their hearts that no wonder Nam Huang Yunxi had a strange look in her eyes when she looked at the saber-sword immortal king earlier. GD's followers glanced at Qinger, understanding in their hearts. They then turned to Junyi only to see that Junyi was also looking at Qing'er. "I'm sorry, senior sister. I didn't mean to hide this from you." Qing'er spoke in a light voice. "Qing'er, senior sister understands." Immortal King Junyi smiled and nodded, maintaining her elegance. Although she felt sad, this matter couldn't be blamed on Qing'er. How could she not understand how great the danger Qin Wentian's identity would be if it was exposed? Qing'er loved Qin Wentian deeply and naturally wouldn't say it out loud. Although she understood, she couldn't help but feel a sense of loss when she saw that peerless figure. But gradually, a smile of relief appeared on her face, as though she had forgotten everything. Such a character was truly worthy of her junior sister Qing'er's love. It was only normal that her heart would be moved. In the camp of the Myriad Devil Islands, many experts from the Judiciary Devil Hall gathered together. Among them, there was a beautiful maiden clad in blood-colored priest robes. Her beautiful eyes stared at that peerless character as she smiled and called out, "Wentian Gij." Chapter 15:11. Qin Wentian's heart trembled when he heard Bai Qing's voice. He turned his head and stared at the figure in the judiciary robes as a gentle smile appeared on his face. "Little Lash Qing, who told you to run out and call me that? Don't you know how dangerous it is?" "I'm not afraid." Bai Qing shook her head. "Wentian Gij's enemies are my enemies." Qin Wentian stared at Bai Qing's beautiful eyes as he sighed in his heart, feeling warmth. The devil cultivators around Bai Qing all stared at her in bewilderment. The usually cold and emotionless judiciary priestess actually had such a gentle side to her. Her voice was as melodious as that of a young girl. Also, at this moment, after the saber-sword Immortal King's identity was exposed, she actually called him Wentian Gij without any hesitation, placing herself in a disadvantageous position. The people on the Myriad Devil Islands have all heard of the matters of the past. Seems like it was indeed true. Bai Qing had very deep feelings for Qin Wentian, who came to the Devil Mountain back then. Everyone on the Devil Mountain stared at Qin Wentian. Although many of them have never seen him before, they have all heard of his name. After all, there were many rumors about him on the Devil Mountain. Back then, the Grand Priest of the Judiciary Devil Hall and the Devil Lord of the Darkness Devil Hall wanted to act against him. However, that existence spoke out and no one on the Devil Mountain dared to touch Qin Wentian. Now it seems that this person who could cause such a commotion on the Devil Mountain was truly extraordinary. Back then, he was only at the Immortal Foundation realm, but now, he was already a hegemon in the Immortal King realm. There were very few in the city of ancient emperors who could contend against him. "Qin Wentian, back then I told you to head to the Devil Mountain to seek good fortune. Seems like my decision was correct." Not far away, the apostle laughed. Qin Wentian glanced at him. "Indeed, I have to thank you for your help." However, the countenance of the child of darkness from the Darkness Devil Hall at the side wasn't so friendly. Back then, Qin Wentian fought against a child of darkness on the Devil Mountain. In the end, even the Darkness Devil Lord had to lower his head and apologize to him. One could say that after that incident, Qin Wentian became a transcendent existence on the Devil Mountain. Clearly, he was just a wuxiu from the immortal realms. Right now, in the city of ancient emperors, he personally met with Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian was no longer that weak Immortal Foundation cultivator from back then. "Also count me in," Jun Mengchen shouted and said coldly. "Which scoundrel is stirring up trouble in the dark? If you have the guts, come out and speak openly." No one answered. The other party seemed to have only revealed Qin Wentian's identity before disappearing completely. It was not easy to find out who exactly it was. "Don't let your grandpa know which grandson it is." Jun Mengchen cursed in rage, cursing loudly. He truly couldn't endure this. Stabbing people in the dark. This person wanted to kill his senior brother Qin. In the future, given how vast the immortal realms are, how could there still be space for his senior brother Qin? Which of those major powers he offended wasn't a peak power? This move was too ruthless, using a borrowed knife to kill. Qin Wentian glanced at everyone as he spoke. "Since you all know who I am, who wants to kill me?" As the sound of his voice faded, the atmosphere turned silent once more. That's right, so what if his identity was exposed? In the city of ancient emperors, the saber-sword Immortal King already stood at the peak. Before this, He had already killed Jia Huangtian of the Forok race. Who else here could kill him? Should they join forces to deal with him? Other than those peak characters who stood on the same level as Qin Wentian. As for the others, even if everyone ganged up on Qin Wentian, they would still die. In the city of ancient emperors, who wanted to kill him? Who would dare to kill him? Back then, I've heard of your name on the Devil Mountain. Since there's a chance today, I really want to see for myself what level Wu Xiu, who came out from my Saint Devil Hall, has reached now. A sinister voice rang out. The eyes of everyone flashed as they stared at the person who spoke. This person wasn't a peak character from the desolate mountains, but was a devil king from the myriad devil islands, a child of darkness from the darkness devil hall. Qin Wentian glanced at him as he coldly spoke. Since you are someone from the Devil Mountain, I advise you not to act against me. Before this, when I killed Jia Huangtian, I still have many abilities that I haven't used yet. For example, the inheritance I obtained from the Devil Mountain. You should know what those abilities are. You won't stand a chance against me. You are too confident. Even if you obtain the inheritance, you might not be able to win against the Devil Kings of the Devil Mountain. The voice of the Child of Darkness was as cold as ever. If I defeat you, should I kill you or not? Qin Wentian directly asked. Arrogant. That Child of Darkness stepped out. In an instant the sky turned dark. That Devil King of Darkness seemed to have melded into the darkness, vanishing from sight. Everyone stared at the darkness, but even their immortal senses couldn't penetrate it. They couldn't see where the Child of Darkness was hiding exactly. Qin Wentian closed his eyes. Terrifying law energy circulated around him. This time around he no longer concealed his law attributes. Devil attribute and destruction attribute energy also circulated around him. Terrifying to the extreme. The entire sky turned dark. This was a domain of darkness. All of a sudden terrifying devil might gushed forth frenziedly. In several locations, Devil Kings of Darkness appeared at the same time, stabbing their spears of darkness towards Qin Wentian. Devil might towered up into the sky, capable of penetrating everything. Numerous vortexes of darkness appeared around Qin Wentian. At this moment, a towering devil might suddenly gushed forth from Qin Wentian. This devil might soared up into the sky as his astral soul manifestation manifested. It was like a terrifying devil sovereign staring down at the heavens and earth with disdain. The will of the devil sovereign was terrifying to the extreme, wanting to dominate everything under the heavens. The devil might in this entire space churned violently. Even the spear of darkness was trembling. After I broke through to the immortal king realm, the constellation I condensed is devil attributed. Devil cultivators are the least threat to me. Qin Wentian coldly spoke. Back then, he obtained the inheritance of the myriad devil sovereign, and also cultivated the tyrannical devil attribute energy. He was able to counter any devil cultivators. Boundless devil runes flashed as his devil sovereign form stared arrogantly at the heavens. Darkness devil might frenziedly gushed forth, causing the spears of darkness to tremble involuntarily. Return! Qin Wentian roared. His voice was like the command of the devil lord, causing all devils to submit. Those devil kings that walked out from the darkness actually turned and rushed towards a direction. An explosive sound rang out. The Child of Darkness retreated and appeared in the air. His expression stiffened as he stared at Qin Wentian. Reality proved that it was like what Qin Wentian said. Devil cultivators were the least threat to him. He had truly obtained the inheritance of the myriad devil sovereign. Although that attack earlier wasn't his true strength, he could sense that it was impossible for him to defeat Qin Wentian. This fellow. The eyes of Bujia, who was spectating from afar, flashed with a strange light. As expected, this was the inheritance of the myriad devil sovereign. Right now, there was no one from the Saint Devil Hall. The myriad devil sovereign that the Devil Mountain believed in had yet to appear, and the inheritor was actually Wu Xiu of the immortal realms. This was truly interesting. Could it be that one day in the future, the Devil Mountain would really bring Qin Wentian over to sit on the throne of the myriad devil sovereign? When he thought of that scene, a smile actually appeared on Bujia's face. Why did he feel that this was so interesting? Dual Immortal Devil Cultivator. Everyone felt their hearts trembling when they saw that short battle. The Devil King of Darkness from the Darkness Devil Hall was forced to admit defeat in just a single clash. It seemed like what Qin Wentian said was true. In the earlier battles he was still holding back. Now that his identity has been exposed, he would naturally have more methods and would only grow stronger. Among the peak characters in the City of Ancient Emperors, who else would be able to fight against him? In the air, the battle intense of the greater demon's sword. This was especially so for the expert from the Gold Sun race who was sitting on the war chariot. His towering battle intent gushed forth, summoning all the peak characters in the City of Ancient Emperors to gather here and compete against each other, to see who is the strongest. But right now it seemed to have become Qin Wentian's personal battlefield. No one could snatch away his radiance. Before this, even when the Saber-Sword Immortal King killed the Yama King, no one would have expected him to be so powerful. Also, this was under the situation where he was holding back. A startling beam of sunlight transformed into a golden spear that pierced through the heavens and earth, akin to the sun itself as it shot towards Qin Wentian. At this instant, a peak character from the Sun Gold race stood up from his throne, resembling a sun god. Qin Wentian slashed out with his sword. The towering sword intent transformed into a sword river that pierced through the heavens and earth, wanting to destroy the golden spear. The supreme demon king of the Gold Sun race stepped out, bringing with him boundless sunlight as he directly appeared before Qin Wentian. A sun appeared on his back and the golden spear in his hand pierced through the heavens and earth, piercing towards Qin Wentian. At this instant the heavens and earth seemed to be on fire. The golden sun spear contained the flames of the sun, causing people to be unable to open their eyes. The crowd only saw that Qin Wentian's entire person was enveloped by a screen of sunlight that seemed to be able to incinerate everything. It was like a domain, and as the spear stabbed out, the heavens and earth would be incinerated. Boom! A terrifying demonic might engulfed the heavens and earth, gushing forth from Qin Wentian. His entire person shone with a demonic light as a demonic aura radiated from him. He was like a demon god, the sovereign of the world. Demonic energy, he even cultivated demonic energy. Immortal arts, devil might, demonic arts, he actually cultivated all of them. Many people were shocked. Also, all three of these arts were incomparably tyrannical. The shadow of a Xuanwu divine turtle appeared around Qin Wentian, exuding a fearsome demonic qi as well as the holy will of the Vajra holy will. Boundless sun fire rained down, yet it was unable to break through this defense. In fact, even the towering flames of destruction from the golden spear couldn't break through this defense. Qin Wentian waved his hand, unleashing God's hand. Within his palm, there was actually a sky rock sword that exuded a holy will. This sky rock sword was like a golden-winged great rock, capable of destroying everything, causing chaos in the heavens and earth. The sword and the spear collided, destroying everything. Qin Wentian grabbed out once more, manifesting the might of a divine elephant, infused with the holy will of a pagoda. The pressure bore down on him as the golden sun crow transformed into an incomparably gigantic divine bird. Accompanied by a towering boom, the gigantic golden sun crow was blasted back explosively. It transformed into a beam of light and stabilized itself in a sorry state. It floated in the air as its eyes blazed with blazing sun fire, looking extremely terrifying. You aren't my opponent. If you all join forces, you might still have a chance. Qin Wentian calmly spoke, ignoring the ugly expression on the divine bird's face. Chapter 15:12. Arrogant. The greater demon from the Gold Sun race roared in rage. That nether Ao and the demonic dragon both gleamed with a terrifying demonic light. This brat was too brazen. He actually wanted the peak characters of the desolate mountains to join forces, only to see at this moment, a scorching heat engulfed the entire space. Numerous suns floated in the air, causing many people to feel as though their bodies were about to be ignited. They retreated again and again. The boundlessly vast space transformed into a sea of sunfire. It was too terrifying. The spectators who had retreated to an extremely far distance all inclined their heads and stared at the dazzling suns. They knew that the greater demon from the Gold Sun race was truly enraged. Qin Wentian actually dared to humiliate him like this, saying that he wasn't a match for Qin Wentian, and wanted the peak characters of the demon race to join forces. This was a great humiliation. He wanted to ascend to the peak. If all the demons here were defeated by Qin Wentian, what did this mean? As long as Qin Wentian was around, would there be no possibility for them to dominate the immortal realms in the future? Busy. A scorching wind gusted by. That incomparably gigantic figure floated in the center of the numerous suns. Boundless sun flames frenziedly gathered around him, causing his entire body to glow with a golden light. Even his blood was golden in color and was boiling. He stretched out his claws as a supreme golden sun spear appeared, resembling the golden spear of the sun god. This golden spear was over 1,000 meters long, and the sun flames gushing forth from it were able to incinerate ordinary peak stage immortal kings to death. There was no need to mention how powerful his attacks would be. Too terrifying. He is enraged. The hearts of everyone trembled. This peak stage greater demon from the gold sun race held this gathering. His intentions were clear. He wanted to become an unparalleled character in the city of ancient emperors, dominating the immortal king realm. But after everyone gathered here, this place seemed to have become a stage for Qin Wentian alone. This human Wuxiu was incomparably arrogant and lawless, cultivating immortal, devil and demon arts. No one could stand against him. If they couldn't deal with Qin Wentian, he would definitely ascend to the peak of the city of ancient emperors, peering down at the immortal king realm from above. Qin Wentian's gigantic body stood there. Resplendent law light flowed around him, causing even peak stage immortal kings to feel their hearts trembling. At this moment, Qin Wentian stretched out his hand. Boundless devil might churned madly as boundless destructive energy converged into an ancient halberd. This ancient halberd was a true halberd of destruction, the halberd of a devil king. Qin Wentian was like a supreme devil lord. With a grasp of his hand, the power of God's hand in his body gushed forth. In an instant, terrifying law energy circulated around the ancient halberd, as well as the holy will of the Eastern tomb. When the ultimate art of God's hand was infused with holy will, in addition to his powerful bloodline and law attribute energy, Qin Wentian himself had no idea how much power he could unleash. But he was sure that in the city of ancient emperors, there wouldn't be many experts who could contend against him. God's hand was originally a secret art that had been lost in time. Although Tao elements were incomparably powerful, it wasn't something that could be comprehended within a short period of time. What these people comprehended was merely the tip of the iceberg. The devil might in the air churned unceasingly as a supreme devil appeared behind Qin Wentian. Boundless devil law energy infused into the ancient halberd, wanting to destroy everything, wanting to annihilate all lives. The ancient halberd pulsed with a fearsome destructive might, unceasingly destroying the beams of sunlight shooting over. Kill! In the air, numerous suns directly fused into the golden spear, slicing through the air as they shot towards Qin Wentian. At this instant, even the rays of light could incinerate people, let alone the attack of the golden spear. In the surroundings of the golden spear, numerous terrifying sun crows appeared. They were all clad in golden robes and seemed to have flown out from the sun, capable of annihilating everything. Qin Wentian's palms abruptly trembled. His devil-godlike body slashed out with the ancient halberd. In an instant, terrifying demonic shadows appeared around the halberd. There were incomparably sharp great rocks, divine elephants that could suppress the heavens and earth, vermilion birds that could incinerate the heavens and earth, primordial beasts that could devour the heavens and earth. Greater demons revolved around the ancient halberd, transforming into a terrifying vortex of destruction. The golden halberd collided with the light of the ancient halberd. Thunderous rumbling sounds rang out, causing the entire space to tremble. This was simply terrifying to the extreme. The destructive greater demon brought with it a holy will as it slammed into the divine bird, unceasingly killing it and devouring it into the vortex. The ancient halberd collided with the golden halberd. The light of the sun and the light of destruction were like beams of light from the 9 heavenly layers, raining down frenziedly. The experts in the distance all congregated their law energy to resist. Even for those at the peak, when the shockwaves from the collision slammed into them, terrifying rumbling sounds could be heard. A shrill scream rang out. The crowd stared in that direction as the dazzling sunlight dimmed. They saw the golden sun bird floating in the air, its entire body emanating a dark and destructive will. Blood seeped out of its body, and the golden blood resembled the fire of the sun. Blood also flowed out of its sharp mouth, and its eyes were ferocious and terrifying. Qin Wentian was still standing there proudly, his long robes fluttering in the wind. His demonic qi churned unceasingly, exuding a sense of magnificence. Who else wants to fight? I, Qin, will accompany you all. Qin Wentian stared at the peak characters in the surroundings as he calmly spoke. At this moment, that supreme beauty from the nine-tailed fox race walked out. Her robes fluttered in the wind and she was like a goddess from the 9 heavens. Her beauty was extremely moving, causing everyone to involuntarily feel a sense of pity in their hearts. Such a supreme beauty, would Qin Wentian be able to bear to act against her? Sister goddess, can you not fight with Wentian? From afar, little rascal called out. The fox goddess glanced at him before turning to Qin Wentian. I want to try out your illusions. Wentian, don't hurt sister goddess. Little rascal called out to Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian stared at the supreme beauty before him and nodded. How do you want to try? I'm also proficient in illusions. Please guide me. The goddess calmly spoke. Her beautiful eyes suddenly gleamed with a demonic light, instantly causing people to sink into a trance. In an instant, Qin Wentian only felt the beautiful countenance of a goddess from the 9 heavens directly entering the depths of his immortal sense, directly entering his soul. In an instant, there was only that beautiful silhouette left in his mind. Are you willing to accompany me for a lifetime? Roaming the world? A voice filled with magic rang out. Qin Wentian's consciousness felt like it was about to dissipate. This voice continued to reverberate in his mind, causing him to involuntarily agree. In Qin Wentian's mind, there were 2 illusory figures. They were none other than the 9-tailed fox race's goddess and Qin Wentian. What do you want me to do? Qin Wentian asked. Follow me and I will bestow you a lifetime of glory and splendor. The woman spoke in a light voice. Her voice was still filled with a magical power. Strands of mystical energy continued to corrode Qin Wentian's soul. In his soul, countless images of the goddess appeared as many things happened. These things seemed to be something he experienced together with the goddess, wanting to cleanse his past, leaving behind only the experiences he had with her. Okay. Qin Wentian nodded. Are you willing to give up everything for me? The woman gently spoke. Qin Wentian stiffly nodded. He slowly walked forward and came to the side of the goddess. His knees bent as though he was about to kneel. The goddess calmly watched this scene. She was still as holy and inviolable as ever, like the most dazzling maiden in the world. Her magnificence was unparalleled, her beauty unmatched, and she didn't seem like a woman of the mortal world. But at this moment, Qin Wentian's silhouette flickered, but he didn't kneel. Instead, he abruptly stepped forward and wrapped his arms around the slender waist of the goddess. In just an instant, the body of the goddess trembled violently as a terrifying light gleamed in her eyes. There was once an extremely beautiful maiden who wanted to do something similar to this. This is my punishment for her. Qin Wentian exerted force, causing the goddess's body to press tightly against his. How dare you? The countenance of the goddess drastically changed. After that, she transformed into a phantom and vanished. This caused a bright light to flash in Qin Wentian's eyes. This 9-tailed demon fox goddess was somewhat different from Princess Kitamura. In the external world, the countenance of the 9-tailed demon fox goddess changed. Her robes fluttered as she coldly stared at Qin Wentian. Her aura fluctuated uncontrollably, as expected of the 9-tailed demon fox goddess. Not only is her figure sexy and her beauty unparalleled, you are also proficient in soul illusions. I'm impressed. Qin Wentian smiled. The aura radiating from the goddess was extremely cold. When she heard Qin Wentian praising her figure, she naturally understood what he was hinting at. Her silhouette flashed as she directly departed, causing the experts here to be stunned. Earlier, what happened in the illusory realm? This 9-tailed demon fox goddess was actually angered away by Qin Wentian. At this moment, out of the 5 supreme greater demons of the desolate mountains, Jia Huangtian from the Fourok race died. The child of darkness was defeated. The greater demon from the gold sun race was heavily injured, and the 9-tailed demon fox goddess left. Only 2 greater demons remained, and the devil cultivator was completely suppressed by him. Qin Wentian truly wanted to use his strength alone to challenge all the supreme greater demons, becoming an unrivaled character in the city of ancient emperors. Boom! The Nether Ao stepped out and a terrifying force of the netherworld seemed to appear in the sky. An extremely ferocious aura erupted and was extremely terrifying. Almost at the same time, that peak stage greater demon from the demon dragon race also stepped out, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. His entire body glowed with a terrifying violet light, terrifying to the extreme. The two greater demons simultaneously moved towards Qin Wentian. They actually wanted to join forces, causing countless people to sigh in admiration. Qin Wentian was too terrifying. Seems like he was truly unrivaled in the city of ancient emperors. These two prideful greater demons actually had to join forces to deal with him. Let's do it together. Qin Wentian coldly spoke. The devil might radiating from him was as strong as ever. With a single glance, two beams of supreme sword intent directly pierced through the air, slashing towards the two greater demons. The Nether Ao directly reverted to his true form, instantly becoming incomparably malevolent. Terrifying netherworld spikes covered his entire body, even covering his head. When the powerful sword intent slashed over, the netherworld spikes glowed with a ghostly light, directly dissipating the sword intent. As for the demon dragon, he directly punched out, shattering the sword intent. Chapter 15:13. So these two are the arrogant demons of the desolate mountains who dominated the immortal realms? Two peak-level experts actually have the face to gang up on my senior brother. Jun Mengchen impolitely mocked. After the demon god mountain appeared, the desolate mountains invaded the immortal realms. Those demonic beasts were extremely arrogant. They had experienced it before in the gazing emperor city. After these demons invaded the immortal realms, they always thought that the immortal realms would be their world, and they would become the kings of this era. That peak-level greater demon from the Sun Gold demon race initiated this confrontation, but no matter what, wasn't he still killed by Qin Wentian alone? Even the powerful Jia Huangtian from the Forak race was killed on the spot. Many greater demons of the desolate mountains stared at Jun Mengchen in rage. Their killing intent was terrifying. However, in this confrontation between peak-level experts, they were indeed suppressed by Qin Wentian alone. In this place, only Qin Wentian's radiance shone. Right now, the Netherworld Ao and the Purple Blood Divine Dragon joined forces. It was already very embarrassing for them. They hoped that they could kill Qin Wentian to regain some face. At this moment, the two experts rushed towards Qin Wentian. In an instant, the Netherworld Ao had a malevolent expression on his face. A baleful aura enveloped the entire space, and in just an instant, a surge of Netherworld energy manifested. This seemed to be the innate domain of the Netherworld Ao. In just an instant, Qin Wentian only felt his entire body going numb as his strength was restricted. He could even feel a bone-chilling coldness. His gaze swept over the surroundings only to see that this place was like the Netherworld. It was extremely cold and numerous heads appeared, all of them resembling humans. All of them lunged towards Qin Wentian, looking extremely malevolent and terrifying. The Netherworld Ao had always been known for his ruthlessness and cruelty. It was rumored that during ancient times, the Netherworld Ao was one of the most ruthless demons. They ate humans as food and committed all sorts of atrocities. And this Nether Ao's royal family was even more terrifying. After he devoured human experts, he refined their abilities into his nether hell, and used them to attack and fight for him. This kind of innate ability was extremely cruel. Countless divine abilities and dharma spells flew over, but Qin Wentian's body was still flowing with a shocking light. Bloodline talent, burning transformation. In the blink of an eye, demonic qi engulfed the entire space, becoming even more violent. Around his body, a fearsome golden-winged great rock appeared. This was none other than the demon god's protection ability granted by his bloodline innate talent, the burning transformation. The eyes of this great rock were bright and piercing, just like Qin Wentian's eyes. Both its wings opened up as runic inscriptions revolved around it. The Vajra Holy Will and Sword Holy Will flowed around it. Rustling sounds could be heard as the huge and gorgeous golden wings flickered. The indestructible wings were like the sword of the ancient Golden Rock King. Dazzling attacks of the great rock kept erupting, crushing all the attacking forces that came whistling over. Qin Wentian blasted out. His attack was completely synchronized with that of the golden-winged great rock. All of the energy from his attack flowed into the demonic beast shield, directly exploding outwards. In an instant, numerous incomparably resplendent great rocks filled with holy will shot out, blotting out the sky, crushing everything in their path. Is this the innate ability of a human from the immortal realms, Wuxiu? Or is it the demonic art of a greater demon from the desolate mountains? Everyone felt their hearts trembling when they saw this scene. Was this fellow really human? At times he was like an immortal, and at other times he transformed into a devil. And now he could even transform into a true demon. What was even more terrifying was that when he transformed into an incomparably powerful demon god, he could even infuse his own immortal arts and holy wills into it. How terrifying! Everyone only felt that Qin Wentian was basically invincible. This city of ancient emperors would belong to him. The Nether Ao had an unsightly expression on his face. All the fur on his body instantly straightened, resembling sharp spikes that could even open and close. The spikes pierced into the great rock kings, turning them into ice sculptures of the netherworld. As for the purple-blooded divine dragon, his entire body circulated with a violet bloodline, incomparably violent. He punched out, causing the demonic dragon to roar in rage, clashing head-on with the great rock kings. The strength of the demonic dragon was extremely tyrannical, capable of shattering everything. However, Qin Wentian wasn't fazed at all. The terrifying wings of the golden-winged great rock flapped, opening up a path, shuttling through the air and appearing before the Nether Ao in an instant. Qin Wentian ignored the attacks and directly cleaved downwards, transforming into a golden rock sword that contained a towering holy will, cleaving apart the world of the Nether Ao as it slashed towards the malevolent-looking body of the Nether Ao. The spikes on the Spirit Ao's body frenziedly pierced out, colliding with the wings slashing downwards. Terrifying demonic techniques erupted forth, but in the face of such a powerful attack, everything was shattered. The spikes were broken as the Spirit Ao howled in rage. Countless heads gushed out, wanting to devour the heavens and earth, wanting to devour Qin Wentian whole. Go! Qin Wentian roared, unleashing a supreme attack. The demon divinity protection directly left his body, transforming into an incomparably gigantic golden-winged great rock that broke through all the attacks, rushing towards the Nether Ao's true body. The Nether Ao let out a deafening roar, as though he wasn't fighting against Qin Wentian, but against the golden-winged great rock instead. Qin Wentian's eyes gleamed with coldness. Both his palms emitted whistling sounds as a god's hand manifested, suppressing the heavens and earth. The golden-winged great rock slammed towards the Nether Ao, while his other palm slammed out in another direction, towards the direction where the purple-blooded divine dragon was attacking. Terrifying demonic chi ravaged the area, causing a tempest to engulf the heavens and earth. Very swiftly, the Nether Ao let out a roar of pain as he was heavily injured and was forced back. The purple-blooded demonic dragon separated from Qin Wentian, staring fixedly at Qin Wentian. At this moment, the god's hand blasted out by Qin Wentian was incomparably terrifying, containing the great Tao of heaven and earth within, akin to the might of a grand formation. I've said it before, you guys aren't my match. Qin Wentian emotionlessly spoke. He didn't want to kill anymore. Now that his identity has been exposed, leaving aside himself, he was more worried about implicating the people around him. The Nether Ao let out a malevolent roar. The expression of the purple-blooded demonic dragon turned extremely unsightly. He hasn't unleashed his true strength yet, but from the few clashes he had, it was almost impossible for him to win against Qin Wentian, who cultivated the three arts. Right now, Qin Wentian was like a gigantic beast in human form, exuding a towering demonic might. These demonic beasts of the desolate mountains are truly impudent. They actually joined forces to attack Wuxiu of our immortal realms. Seems like it's time to teach them a lesson. Do they really think that Wuxiu of our immortal realms doesn't exist? At this moment, a sinister voice drifted over, causing everyone to stare in bewilderment at the person who spoke. This person was a peak character of the immortal realms, a person who hadn't spoken a single word from the start until now. He came from the Beast God sect located in the great snowy mountains of the eastern regions of the immortal realms. Before this, they didn't speak at all. But now that Qin Wentian clearly didn't fear the two greater demons joining forces, he gave off a strange feeling when he spoke again. Since the demonic beasts of the desolate mountains invited us here, we might as well experience the strength of the desolate mountains' demonic beasts. As the sound of his voice faded, he directly stepped out as a strange black-colored energy enveloped his body. Within the black-colored energy, A pair of resplendent eyes could be seen, giving off a sinister feeling. His silhouette dashed towards the nether Ao that was injured by Qin Wentian. Riding on the black clouds, his speed was extremely fast. A terrifying aura of danger gushed forth from the black-colored energy around him, causing the sinister feeling to grow even more intense. The eyes of the nether Ao gleamed with coldness. Even if he was injured, how could he be so easily bullied? Did this human think he was easy to bully? A thunderous roar shook the heavens and earth. The netherworld appeared once again, incomparably cold. Numerous heads appeared, all of them malevolent and terrifying, flying towards the expert from the beast god sect. But at this moment, the black clouds on the body of the expert from the beast god sect instantly rushed out ferociously, engulfing the heavens and earth. In an instant, the vast space was enveloped within, as though it was his law domain. In an instant, the roars of thousands of beasts shook the heavens and earth. Within the chaotic black clouds, numerous terrifying greater demons appeared. There were all kinds of greater demons, and their eyes were incomparably demonic. However, they seemed to have lost their spirit, as though they had been refined into beasts. Roar! Many demonic beasts in the surroundings let out roars of rage. Their terrifying eyes stared frenziedly at the expert from the beast god sect. They discovered that among the myriad of demonic beasts, there were their missing tribesmen. This person had truly concealed himself very deeply. Qin Wentian also felt astonished. The expert from the beast god sect controlled the myriad of demonic beasts to unleash a frenzied attack, colliding with the explosive power of the heads, directly crushing everything, destroying everything. He recalled some of the rumors regarding the beast god sect. The beast god sect was known for controlling beasts, able to control greater demons. Seems like the true beast god sect wasn't limited to just this. This person seemed to have refined many greater demons into his beast puppets, becoming his combat strength. As expected, although demonic beasts were violent and powerful, and many of them were extremely terrifying, in terms of cunning and endurance, demonic beasts couldn't be compared to humans. For example, the expert from the beast god sect in front of him. Swishing sounds rang out as countless beast god chains appeared, glowing with a dark light as they directly shot towards the nether Ao. The nether Ao finally sensed danger. He roared in rage as he soared into the sky. How could the expert from the beast god sect let him off? He took a step forward and the myriad of demonic beasts attacked. At the same time, he himself also unleashed an attack. In an instant, it was as though a terrifying devil ape had descended from the heavens, blasting towards the nether Ao. This caused the demonic beasts to be even more enraged. Kill him! Many demonic beasts roared. This expert from the beast god sect was definitely their predator. They had to kill him no matter what. Their roars shook the heavens as numerous demonic beasts rushed over. Kill these humans, Wu Xiao! Another roar rang out, filled with hatred towards humans. This time around, the demonic beasts of the desolate mountains had suffered a crushing defeat, causing the tyrannical might in the bodies of the greater demons to erupt. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. He didn't expect things to turn out like this. Demonic beasts were truly easily angered. His silhouette flashed, ignoring the battle between the expert from the beast god sect and the nether Ao. He transformed into a giant, akin to a god as boundless might circulated around him. His sword intent shook the heavens as he coldly spoke. The agreement today was initiated by a greater demon from the Sun Gold race. If you guys can't accept defeat, don't blame me for starting a massacre. Chapter 15:14. Qin Wentian stood there, resembling a true divinity. Those demonic beasts naturally calmed down as they stared dumbfoundedly at that magnificent figure. Kill the human Wu Xiao? Two of your peak stage greater demons joined forces to deal with Qin Wentian. Could it be that we, the immortal realm's Wu Xiao, are not allowed to participate in the battle? Someone coldly spoke, his battle intent surging. The demonic beasts all let out low-sounding roars as the experts from the Netherworld Ao race all rushed out, wanting to save the Netherworld Ao who was trapped. The experts from the Beast God sect also stepped out. They were all hidden in a layer of mist. Boundless chains of darkness whistled through the air, enveloping the entire area, locking down this entire space. Qin Wentian didn't interfere in the battle over there. Although the methods of that expert from the Beast God sect were somewhat sinister, how could the Netherworld AO not be an extremely cruel greater demon? Just by looking at those heads, one could tell that he must have killed many human wuxiu. With regards to such a greater demon, how could Qin Wentian have any sympathy for him? It's fine if he just let them kill each other. In the outside world, the clash between the two major powers would naturally cause chaos in the immortal realms. He didn't want all the attention to be focused on him. That violet-blooded demonic dragon stared at Qin Wentian before glancing at the battle between the expert from the Beast God sect and the Netherworld AO as he sighed in his heart. Seems like after the appearance of the Demon God Mountain, the greater demons of the desolate 10,000 mountain range underwent a transformation, causing the desolate mountains to be too arrogant, looking down on the human geniuses of the immortal realms. This time could be considered a lesson for them. Qin Wentian felt that it would be hard for him to win against Qin Wentian. As for that expert from the Beast God sect, he also felt that Qin Wentian was extraordinary. Wu Xiao, a human, was not like the great demons of the desolate land, who would reveal their violent nature. Some of them hid it very well. Roar! A draconic roar thundered out, shaking the heavens and earth. The purple-blood demonic dragon soared up into the air and departed. Although he hadn't used his full strength in this battle, he knew that he had already lost. The one who stood at the peak of the city of ancient emperors wouldn't be him. In that case, there was no meaning for him to continue staying here. The dragon race naturally had their own pride. He wouldn't stay here and hope for the greater demons of the desolate mountains to fight against humans. That would be meaningless. Miserable cries rang out one after another. That Nether AO was already struggling at death's door. He was about to be killed by the experts of the God Beast Church. His methods were cold and terrifying, causing everyone to feel terrified. The mysterious God Beast Church definitely couldn't be underestimated. Qin Wentian glanced at the remaining experts. Only the Apostle of the Devil Mountain, the Judiciary Priest, as well as Zhang Zihua of the Immortal Realms and the Reverend of the Wenxin Temple had already participated. Do you guys have any guidance for me? Qin Wentian stared at them as he asked. My Zhang clan has never had any ill intentions towards Brother Qin. Back then, my younger brother Zhang Ziyu had once invited Brother Qin to join our Zhang clan and treated you as an esteemed guest. Even now, I hope that there will be a chance for Brother Qin to pay a visit to my Zhang clan. Zhang Zihua smiled. Back then, Qin Wentian already felt that Zhang Ziyu had ulterior motives. Also, his strength back then was extremely weak and he naturally wouldn't go. Now he wouldn't go either. This Zhang clan was mysterious and unfathomable. Yet they cultivated Buddhist arts. Although Zhang Zihua had a warm smile on his face, he still gave off an unfathomable feeling. In fact, even with his eyes of truth, Qin Wentian couldn't see through Zhang Ziyu's thoughts. If there's a chance, I will pay a visit, Qin Wentian casually said. His tone was slightly perfunctory, and it was very easy to tell. Yet Zhang Zihua still smiled and nodded. Then I'll be looking forward to it. After saying this, he turned his gaze towards the eminent monk of Wenxin Temple and said, Grandmaster, you and I have both received the teachings of the Buddhist orthodoxy and have always wanted to find an opportunity to spar with you. Now that this opportunity is right, what do you think, Grandmaster? I have the same intention, the eminent monk of Wenxin Temple calmly replied. If that's the case, many thanks for your guidance, Grandmaster. Zhang Zihua took a step into the air. Buddhist light blazed on his body, and golden light sprinkled over the heavens and earth. His handsome figure emitted the brilliance of the Buddhist path. At a glance, he was still extremely handsome. Grandmaster, please. Zhang Zihua was extremely courteous. It didn't seem like a battle at all, but more like a discussion about the Buddhist path. The eminent monk of Wenxin Temple stood at his original location, radiating Buddhic light. A resplendent lamp appeared above his head, illuminating his body. His countenance was solemn, as though he had already attained the Tao. Bujie's gaze was filled with concern as he stared at the situation here. Although he had entered the Myriad Devil Islands and cultivated the devil arts of the Myriad Ancient Devil Hall, his heart was still tied to Wenxin Temple. This is clearly a great battle, yet he is so polite and pretentious. If he isn't transcendent, then he must be extremely evil. From my point of view, it's most probably the latter. Bujie faintly spoke. The devil cultivators beside him glanced at him as one of them laughed. I feel that this Zhang Zihua has quite the demeanor. He seems extraordinary. You cultivate the devil path. How can your judgment be compared to us who cultivate both Buddhists and devils? Both of us have the Buddhist orthodoxy and one of us would definitely be eliminated. In fact, the price might even be death. In such a situation, would you still be so polite to your opponent? Bujia laughed. Naturally not. If it was me, I would directly start a battle and kill him. That devil cultivator coldly replied. That's right, there's something strange going on. You are a life and death opponent, yet you're feigning civility and being too polite. If this isn't evil, what is it? Bujia's tone was unkind, like Zhang Zihua had offended him. The devil cultivator at the side laughed and didn't argue. He could naturally tell that Bujia had some opinions about Zhang Zihua, and was very unhappy with him. Maybe it was because Zhang Zihua's opponent was an eminent monk of Wenqin Temple, and he was once a disciple of Wenqin Temple. As they spoke, Zhang Zihua and the eminent monk of Wenqin Temple had already started fighting. Both of them cultivated the power of Buddhists and comprehended the Buddhist orthodoxy. Zhang Zihua's Buddhist attacks were unparalleled and had astonishing might. Other than Buddhist attacks, he also had other means of attack. However, the eminent monk of Wenqin Temple used the purest Buddhist attacks. The two of them collided in the air, and terrifying Dharma bodies of Buddhists appeared, engulfing everything in a shocking battle. Qin Wentian was also watching the battle. At this moment, Zhang Zihua had actually formed thousands of external incarnations, each containing astonishing power. They attacked at the same time, and what was even more terrifying was that each of the external incarnations was actually different from each other. It was like thousands of Dharma spells attacking at the same time, engulfing everything. The eminent monk of Wenqin Temple put his hands together, and endless Buddhist rules floated around him. Ancient runes flashed in the air, accompanied by the echoes of Buddhist chants. A huge golden Buddhist palm was born between heaven and earth, covering the heavens and the earth as it attacked forward. The Buddhist palm was extremely powerful, shattering everything in its path. The supreme Buddhist palm destroyed everything. However, Zhang Zihua suddenly took a step forward, and his body disappeared from where he was. When he reappeared in the next moment, he was directly above the eminent monk of Wenqin Temple. The Buddhist light was boundless, and an incomparably great Buddha pressed down, crushing the heavens and the earth, directly pressing down on the eminent monk of Wenqin Temple. Even the spectators felt their hearts tremble violently. The eminent monk of Wenqin Temple chanted loudly, not moving at all. His hands erupted with a dazzling brilliance, and one of the Buddha beads on his hands shattered. A terrifying Buddhist light enveloped his body, and with a loud rumble, the heavens and earth trembled. The two of them descended at the same time, stepping on the ground. In just an instant, the earth crazily cracked, spreading out like a spider web in all directions. Bang bang! The Buddha beads were destroyed one by one, and suddenly the Buddhist light was extremely dazzling. A Buddhist golden lotus appeared under his feet, rising up, and the evil vanquishing sword bloomed, rushing towards Zhang Zihua who was stepping on him. However, his own body was rapidly moving forward. However, Zhang Zihua seemed to follow him like a shadow, always stepping on the top of his head, shouting, "Grandmaster, be careful." As the sound of his voice faded, a thunderous rumbling sound rang out. Numerous Supreme Buddhas appeared in all directions, pressing down unceasingly, locking down this entire space. These Buddhas chanted Buddhic chants as boundless attacks blasted towards the reverend of the Askhart Temple. The eminent monk of Wenqin Temple erupted with a myriad of Buddhist palm imprints, blasting out in all directions, colliding with the Buddhas. However, the attacks were all broken. Seeing the Buddhas rushing over, sealing the sky, the eminent monk of Wenqin Temple chanted again. He put his palms together, and the Buddha beads in his hands were continuously crushed. A glazed Buddhist light appeared on his body, and his entire body was golden, like a treasured body of the Buddhist path, an indestructible Dharma body. No matter how many attacks blasted at him, he remained unmoved, only willing to chant for eternity. "Grandmaster, this junior has offended you," Zhang Zihua said calmly. Zhang Zihua spoke calmly, and in an instant illusions seemed to appear in the sky. Countless incomparably charming and sexy women appeared, dancing gracefully, imprinting themselves into the mind of the eminent monk of Wenshin Temple. These women seemed to be born from illusions, but they were more real than reality. They kept taking off their clothes, revealing their skin that was whiter than snow, extremely seductive. Even the spectators could see the enchanting scene. This illusion seemed to have turned into a real existence, bewitching people's hearts. Is this also a dharma? Bujia shouted, his expression cold. All dharmas are interlinked. Beauties are like skeletons, Zhang Zihua said calmly. The eminent monk of Wenshin Temple continued chanting. Well said. Beauties are like skeletons, unmoved by the Buddha's heart. Although this was the case, the dance of these seductive women was incomparably beautiful, able to cause people to sink in, constantly approaching the eminent monk. Many spectators felt somewhat uncontrollable when they saw the dance. They knew that this was an extremely powerful dance of bewitchment, wanting to break the Buddha's heart. Despicable! Bujia roared. Qin Wentian glanced at Bujia. Seems like this fellow still had feelings for Wenshin Temple. Finally, a crisp sound rang out. Cracks appeared on the undying Buddha body of the eminent monk of Wenshin Temple. The body of the eminent monk was also cracking apart, with fresh blood seeping out. However, he was still as immovable as a mountain, chanting unceasingly. Stop the battle! Bujia roared in rage, stepping out. The devil cultivators beside him started, but they still followed after him. After all, Bujia's status in the myriad ancient devil hall was extremely high. What do you guys want to do? The experts of the Zhang clan blocked their path. Zhang Ziyu was among them as well. He calmly spoke. Even the esteemed monks of the Ascart Temple didn't interfere when peak characters challenged us to a battle. What do you guys from the devil path mean by this? Kill. How could Bujia care so much? He directly waved his hand and gave the command. After speaking, he took the initiative to punch out, directly aiming for Zhang Ziyu. He, Bujia, was a devil cultivator as well as a Buddha cultivator. When he did things, why would he care so much about rules? Bujia, there's no need to interfere. That eminent monk spoke. Clearly, he was acquainted with Bujia. However, cracks appeared on his body as his injuries worsened. Master! Bujia called out, his words causing the hearts of those from the myriad ancient devil hall to tremble as they finally understood something. Qin Wentian's heart also trembled. So it turned out that this reverend was actually the master of Bujia.